This is the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast. I'm Dalton Gray.
And I'm Mariah Humphreys.
Broadcasting from our hometown of Fairbanks, Alaska. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast, everybody. I'm Dalton.
I'm Mo.
Thanks for joining us. This one is going to be a gear episode.
Oh, yeah.
Also a little bit of prelude for the hunt type of episode. Let me turn my headset up just a tiny bit.
Oh, boy, here we go again.
Got a tiny bit quiet. All right, there we go. I just want to make sure I'm not talking too loud. But as this episode comes out, sheep season is only a couple weeks away for us up here in Alaska. I believe that the Northwest Territories is already open.
I keep seeing pictures of dead sheep,
I
so I
have
would
seen some beautiful sheep coming out
scrolling
of
through
NWT.
a roll of images today.
Yeah. I got to send you this page for an outfitter there that has been killing
I've
stacks of giant rams.
I probably have seen it already. Yeah.
Massive rams. And then there was that video going around of the archery hunter right at the mouth of the cave.
I don't think I've seen that
and
one.
2 rams spilled out of it,
Okay.
and he was already at full draw. How did he know when to draw? Anyway, the second ram was a giant, and he shot it at whatever bow range it was. It was pretty close.
He sent in there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see any flare smoke, so it seemed relatively good, but might have been a little bit of whistling or something.
A little tear gas.
The sheep seemed alive and conscious.
Tear gas just makes you cry. That's why it's called tear gas.
Mm.
Anyway.
So, as Mo and I are prepping to gear up to go sheep hunting, we did a pack dump video last year about the same time, and it was Mo's pack dump. I did not go sheep hunting last year due to work commitments combined with personal commitments. I had other stuff going on last year. It was a real bummer. I also missed deer camp last year, as did Mo. Have we told you that we missed deer hunting last year?
Yeah.
Well, our plan is in place for this year.
It's a good one.
And it is glorious. It is quite glorious.
There involves lots of dead deer.
Lots of dead deer, lots of elevation gained and lost, and
being cold, being wet.
Yeah. Well, not as cold this time, hopefully.
But maybe more wet.
Possibly. Oh, definitely more wet. Guaranteed more wet. So anyway, we figured this year we would do a pack dump of what I'm bringing sheep hunting in the main episode, and then I think the plan is at some point you're going to do a pack dump episode as well.
Yeah, it'll be a separate. It won't be part of the podcast. It'll be a YouTube video pack dump.
Sure.
So in all of this, the structure of the episode today is going to be something along the lines of we'll kind of go through our plans this year for sheep hunting.
Yep.
We're not sheep hunting together.
Yeah.
We kind of thought maybe,
why.
But we'll talk about that. But and then we'll do his pack dump today. On the episode, we'll also do we'll also separate that out as its own standalone video on YouTube. If you want to watch it, go back and rewatch. Easier to get to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, clip through it.
And then at the end, we'll talk about gear and whatnot, and some of the gear choices and reasons for it. And then I will upload mine if I get it done in time. Before I go, I will upload it separately as its own just pack dump video.
Yep.
That's the idea anyway.
So,
and by the time this is out, there should also be a new video on YouTube, the latest bear baiting video, where stuff dies.
We can put it there.
Okay, anyhow.
So, just a quick overview of what the plan is for this year. Originally, you and I had talked about going and sheep hunting together, which I was kind of looking forward to. And then February came, and we found out that some draw permits had been doled out to some lucky individuals, of which I was one, and also my boss, who for the first time ever put in for draw permits.
Andrew
has never actually been big game hunting for himself. And he's been along, I think, on one moose hunt when he was like back around college age, maybe his early 20s. And I guess if I recall right, one of his buddies shot a moose or something. So he got to be a part of that process, but hunting wasn't what he grew up doing. He's never been against the idea of it. And since I started working for him, boy, that's been probably like 8 years now.
A long time.
It's been a while.
At least 8 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think we're right at 8. I think we're right around there. So he's, gradually gained interest as I've been there. And of course, I talk about hunting and I guide. And so I've introduced him to some different hunting podcasts over the years. And he decided that, hey, I think I'm going to put in for this sheep tag. And he drew it the first time.
It's not like I haven't put in for that every year.
It's not like I haven't put in for it.
What, 10 years?
So he drew a sheep tag in a good area. It's well known. I'm not gonna say it right now. I don't know why. I just don't feel like saying it right now.
No, I understand. You'd say it after season. You don't want to say it.
Sure. But he drew a good sheep tag.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to find, but I'll just leave it at that for now. So I'm going sheep hunting with him to help him because he's never been sheep hunting before. I have a spotter. I have a lot of the right gear for that kind of stuff. I'm comfortable judging sheep. He's a beginner. Now he's had to take the test as everybody does this year to be able to go sheep hunting. You have to take the ram, the legal identification quiz for
Something
rams.
like that, yeah.
That Fish and Game came out with this summer. So he did pass that. And so we're going to go sheep hunting together. And I'm excited for that. I've wanted to sheep hunt in that country before. I know other guys that have, some successful, some not. And the area that we're going into is a little bit less known about what we're getting into, but also seems to be a higher chance of just getting away from people, which is important to us. I'm not really stoked on the idea of hunting with a bunch of other hunters around.
And I think
Did I just say other?
I don't.
I might
didn't
have
notice, but you might have
a bunch of other hunters
correct.
around. Okay,
so
there we go.
I think we had Henry Tiffany on a while back. One of our best episodes we've ever had. If you haven't listened to it, you should go listen to that.
Certainly, probably one of, if not my favorite episode.
Yeah, same here. We're especially gearing up for sheep season.
Yeah,
awesome guy, great stories.
Yeah,
great ethics. But we talked to him about declining sheep populations a little bit.
Yes,
and I'm not going to go into his whole take on it, but it kind of altered the way I thought about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe we're in some kind of crisis, but sheep populations are low. Mm-hmm. And as a result, the amount of hunting spaces is fewer, but the amount of hunters hasn't really gone down too much.
Yeah, it's declined slightly.
But not enough to compensate for. I've looked at numbers for the area I'm looking at going.
Sure, yes.
And it has actually increased.
Hunter numbers or sheep?
Hunter numbers.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Sheep numbers have decreased. Harvests have decreased. Hunter numbers have increased.
And we wonder why.
Right, well. Right.
You and I both have a few reasons as to why.
Anyhow, so although that was, there's not like the last 5 or 6 years of data is not necessarily available, at least easily.
I was thinking more statewide. Like
correct.
I would be curious what the numbers are 5 years ago, sheep hunters that got a tag, and then how many rams were killed.
If we looked at statewide, that'd be easier to find. We're not going to do that right now. But anyhow, it makes it so that when you go in somewhere, there are fewer legal rams to shoot. Mm-hmm. And so while maybe even 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been a huge deal to have 2 or 3 guys in the same drainage, because there's a good opportunity if everybody's still killing a sheep, if you just had the patience and willing to wait. Now that opportunity is getting less and less.
Well, and for me personally, I don't enjoy
hunting around other guys.
Hunting around other people.
Yeah.
Specifically with sheep, if I get into a drainage and someone else walks in behind me, and I've already been there for
right.
Well, even if I was there an hour before them, if they walk up behind me and there's really nowhere else to hunt but that drainage, I'm going to meet them and I'm going to say, "Hey, sorry, man,
we're hunting here." Right.
I'm here.
I feel the same way, but they could go the drainage.
And vice versa.
Right. I would do that. I feel that way already with where I'm going.
Yeah.
I have a plan. Yep. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go around here. Mm-hmm. Right. And if I go up here and there's somebody there, well then I'm going to go to plan B, plan C, plan D, all the way through the alphabet. I've got a plan Z, not really, but I have a plan this year for if one doesn't work, I can go to another, I can go to another, I can go to another.
Right.
And until I find somewhere where at least at a minimum I'm alone.
Yeah.
Or almost alone, or
Exactly. So that's kind of the idea. My boss and I are planning on being out for, we'll say, roughly 12 days. Could be slightly less. Obviously, we hope it's less.
Right.
That means we kill a ram early on. That'd be awesome. And if it's slightly longer, then I think the max would be like 14 days in the field.
Okay.
That's about what we have blocked out of the work schedule. So with that in mind, the stuff that I'm going to talk about that I'm bringing here today, some of this stuff we're going to split up between the two of us to carry. If you and I were sheep hunting together, we'd be bringing one tripod, one spotter, one stove, one tarp, and you and I would be able to split our pack weights.
Or some variants, because we would also leave the opportunity open for us to split up.
Yes,
right. So we might carry two stoves.
Okay,
but yeah.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If the plan was for us to hunt together the whole time,
Correct.
we would split
Correct.
most of the heavier essential things. So some of the stuff that I do have listed in my packing list and that I'm going to show you that I've got in my pack right now, I'm not actually going to carry that. Maybe my boss is going to carry one or two of those things. And the pack list that I have right now, as I'm going to show it today, as it is right now, it's about 50 pounds. I believe I landed about right at 50. If not, then like 51 and a half. But I think it was right at 50. And when I take a few things out of there, I'm going to end up landing around the 46-ish pound range that he's going to carry a couple of things of. Because I'll carry the spotter, but maybe he'll carry the tripod. Maybe he'll carry the tarp, but I'll carry, whatever else that's going to make up for that, right? So we'll try to split some of the things, but the pack that he's bringing, so I already mentioned he's not been sheep hunting before. When he was around like high school, college age, he did do a lot of like alpinist type expeditions and climbs and mountain trips. Did a lot of winter camping in an area not that far from where we're actually going to be going. So he's familiar with that type of country. And he already has a pack that he used for that back in the day. Now it's an internal frame, more of what we would call, probably you and I would call like an alpinist mountaineering type pack.
Okay.
So there is no load shelf. It's not a hunting brand pack. It's actually an old North Face pack. And there's plenty of room to fit everything you need on a sheep hunt without being completely overflowing or having a meat shelf. The problem with that style of pack comes when you kill something and you've got all your stuff in your bag, but then where am I going to put this ram? So I'm bringing my initial ascent 8K pack this year, so I've got a meat shelf. So if need be, we can put the ram's head, shoulder cape on his pack underneath of his lid, and he can carry that, and I can put my load cell bag on my pack shelf in between the bag and the frame with the boned out sheep, and I can carry all that. So that's kind of the contingency there. And then again, if I have all the meat and I'm too heavy and he can take some more stuff, then at that point I could give him my food bag or something, right? So we can distribute it within reason. One thing that I don't have in the video right now that I'll just say now before I forget it is I am going to bring the cub attachment for this pack. I don't need it as I'm going in right now. I have everything in here as I need minus food, but the food is going to fit in there just fine without needing the cub with room to spare. And we'll talk about that as we get through the pack here. But I'm going to bring the cub just because if we get to a point where we have to carry out a bunch of stuff or
Right.
his pack breaks for some reason and
Easy.
I need to carry
Yeah.
more stuff, I want to have the ability to do that. And the cub is only a few ounces of a penalty to carry
it's a
that.
strong convenience factor.
Yeah.
Well, I've aggressively, I won't get into my gear too much this episode, but I have aggressively cut weight this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cub, while it's very convenient, when you're aggressively cutting weight, 4 or 5 ounces is a lot.
Yeah.
And it all adds up.
I agree.
And so that's where I kind of, I went back and forth on it for a little. I was like, I don't need it. It's nice. It's really handy because you flip your pack off and you've got stuff in your lid and stuff in your cub.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 points where,
Right.
you say the lid is your food, your first aid, and your toilet paper, and the cub is like your gloves, your hat, your tarp.
Sure.
Like that's what the kind of system I've run. But
sure. Not that I need it. Like I said, I already clarified
but it has
that.
a strong convenience factor.
But
and you have the...
it could easily turn into a necessity in the situation that we're going in on.
Right.
So I think I'm going to bring it. So we'll start off with just going through the stuff that I'm actually going to wear on the trail to get in there. Start at the bottom, and we'll work our way out. My drawers.
What kind are those?
These are BN3TH. Beneath, maybe?
Probably, yeah.
These are synthetic underbottoms.
So you go for synthetic bottoms.
Yep.
Interesting.
I've had this exact pair for probably 5 or 6 years.
It's probably been washed back that many times?
No.
That's
No. But these have held up. This is probably their last cheap season. I'm not going to expose these on camera, but there are some ventilation spots in these that are aftermarket. But
they're not stock.
But I like these. I've tried some different wool underwear boxers, and I'm not a huge fan of them. Now, I haven't tried some of the other brands that are out there that I've heard better things about, but the ones that I have tried, I've not been super impressed with. So I bought those in town at a local store, and I've got a second pair that I have as my spare in my pack. So that's what I'm wearing for that. I know some guys are diehard wool. The wool that I'm going to wear, this is a synthetic or a merino wool short sleeve tee from Stone Glacier. That's next to skin on the top. That thing is going to stay on me the entirety of the hunt, unless I'm either sunbathing or trying to dry off right now, and I got to take that thing off. But I like wool next to skin as a shirt, and that particular short sleeve is very comfortable. It's not abrasive, it's not itchy, and it's short sleeve. So if you do have a really, really hot day, I like having a short sleeve shirt. Next on the top, this is the Tailwheel hoodie from Frontier Gear of Alaska, or Barney's Sports Chalet sells this one. If you're familiar with Barney's in Anchorage, you've heard about the Frontier Gear of Alaska clothing. And this is a microgrid fleece type of mid-layer, I guess this would be called, although I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, so it's next to skin on my arms.
Is it full-on synthetic?
It is, yeah.
And it has a zipper pocket? Nice.
It does. Kevin sent me this a couple of years ago now, and this is actually not the color that they come in now. This was an early, I guess probably later on prototype, and then he released them not long after that, and now they're like a gray charcoal color. This one is all black, but I like a synthetic as a mid layer. I don't like too much wool as a mid layer. A wool t-shirt doesn't bother me, but this dries out extremely fast. It wicks moisture, but it's also somewhat warm, but it's not as heavy. The spacing on the grid is, well, I can see through it quite easily in between all the grids. I think it breathes a lot better than something like the Stone Glacier Helio hoodie, which is what I've worn a lot in the past sheep hunting. I wore the Peloton 200 from Kuiu, which is a straight weave. It's not nearly as breathable as this thing is.
No, I'm a huge grid fleece as my second line of...
Yeah. It's just so versatile.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll be wearing hiking 90% of the time, like I said, unless it gets super hot. For pants, these are also from Barney's. These are the PA18 pants. These are all shoulder fabric made, I believe. They're super lightweight, super thin, but very durable. They have a little bit of stretch to them, but they're not overly stretchy, and they don't get baggy after a week or so of wearing them. I've found that to be a problem with several other pairs of hunting pants that I've had on extended hunts. is the longer you wear them, the hip, or I'm sorry, not the hip, but the waistband stretches out. It gets saggy. You're constantly tightening your belt. The legs get baggy. They kind of droop.
That's you losing weight is what that is.
Well, no, that's actually just the spandex losing its elasticity. So these pants, they are expensive for what they are. I think these are upper $200 something range, but I like them. I really like these pants. They are double knees, I believe, so they're reinforced there. Minimal pockets. There's 2 thigh pockets here and 2 normal front pockets and 1 back pocket on the right side.
Does he make any more cargo pants style, like with bigger pockets?
No. This is the only pair of pants that he's got like this. He's got puffy pants.
I'm a big cargo pocket guy when I'm hiking.
Now, the other thing that I will say is the hip vents on these are open. I'm not a real big fan of mesh hip vents. I know some guys are. I've gone back and forth on that. These hip vents are not very big, but I find them to be just enough, and they open up instead of opening down. You know what that means? That means you have to stop to kind of open them up a little bit.
But to close them,
you just reach down and just push. It's a lot easier to close these vents on the go, at least I think. So the PA-18 pants from Frontier Gear of Alaska, or Barney's, that's what I'm wearing for pants. These are pretty dang windproof, I think. They dry super fast, which is very important. I need to be able to splash through a creek, and 10 minutes later my pants are dry, which I have done in those pants many times. Now, this is one of the layers that you and I were going back and forth on as far as should you bring it or not. This is made by Sitka Gear, and I plan on wearing this a lot just because I had the previous version of this piece, and I wore it almost all the time, even while I was hiking. So this is...
I haven't seen this yet.
This is the Jetstream LT jacket from Sitka Gear, and if there are other people out there that are familiar with what was the Sitka Gear Mountain Evo jacket, then you know what I'm talking about. This is like the Mountain Evo jacket 2.0.
It's like a Jetstream without the fleece. Roughly?
Right.
Yeah.
So the Mountain Evo jacket was the same as this, except the back panel here was all stretchy, highly breathable fabric. The rest of the jacket is made with Gore Windstopper. This is the same fabric everywhere as the Mountain Evo, but the back panel is also Gore Windstopper. So you lose some of that breathability. The idea with the Mountain Evo was a hybrid wind blocking layer, ultra lightweight, and you could hike with a pack on and your back wouldn't just bake, right? And all that sweat would just accumulate between your back and your pack. So the Jetstream LT was made to replace the Mountain Evo because if you're going to be stationary and you have the Mountain Evo on, and I noticed this too, yes, you can dry off easier with that, but you're not windproof, right? And that's a lot of surface area to sacrifice for breathability's sake. So this is, I think it's 13.6 ounces for this jacket. It's full zip. It's got a hood. You can use the hood and the collar without... I'm sorry, you can use the collar zipped up to the front without having the hood on, and it's still sealed off to your neck. And 2 basic pockets there on the side. I could probably do without the hand pockets on a jacket like this. And if they made it without a zipper altogether and they just made it like a pullover shirt, I would probably still buy it. The wind layer is controversial in the sheep hunting department. A lot of guys, are going to see that and go, "You're nuts. That's stupid. I just use your raincoat as a wind layer." I hate wearing a raincoat if I don't have to.
It's so much more comfortable to hike in.
This is vastly more comfortable.
Yeah.
And I find myself wearing it more often than not. I'm a jacket guy. Even in the summertime, I'm wearing this. This is an ultralight -33 merino wool quarter zip hoodie. And I wore this all day today at work. If I get hot, pull the sleeves up.
I have hoodies like that.
And, zip the chest vent down, whatever. but I wear long sleeves daily, even through the summertime. That's just how I roll. So for me, wearing this windbreaker jacket, this is very windproof, keeps the cold out, regulates your temperature, and it doesn't weigh enough for me not to bring it for how much I like it. And because I'm wearing it 90% of the time, even if it's raining,
So
it sheds light rain.
It's kind of a luxury item.
Kind of.
Because you have something else that could do the job, but yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
So this is one of my allowance pieces. And again, it's 13 and a half ounces. I'll survive.
A lot for a luxury item.
I know. Trekking poles, I destroyed my last pair of Peaks poles, and I had another hunt to go on right after that, so I stopped by Barney's. I know I've mentioned Barney's a lot in this video, but I bought a set that Kevin had there. These are the Black Diamond, what are these ones called? Like the Alpine Pros or something.
I would say underneath that tape.
Yeah, like the Alpine Pros or something to that effect.
Let me see.
But, yep, Alpine Carbon. That's what these are called. They are pretty lightweight. I've got some Tyvek tape and some duct tape wrapped around each one. Tyvek tape is nice for tent repairs if you have a rip in something, or patching sleeping bags or puffy jackets, things of that nature. Tyvek tape is good for that. No reason that I didn't buy more Peaks poles other than Barney's didn't have them when I went in there to buy them. I needed them right now.
These are pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, these are great poles. So these are the trekking poles I'm running. They are nice. Move on from that. And then we'll go to, I went back and forth on this, but I had brought these last time. I used to carry just like a pair of mechanics gloves to sheep hunt in. These are the ones that Stone Glacier makes. They are durable. I believe that these fingertips work with my phone. At least they did on my old phone. I think these are called like the Merca gloves or something to that effect. They're just like the work gloves that Stone Glacier sells. They're just nice for, brush busting, things like that in the rocks, sharp things. I don't know. I'm also a glove guy. I wear gloves at work all the time. I work with sheet metal. Great way to tear up your hands if you don't. So, gaiters. These are the Peaks Stormcastle gaiters. This is a almost brand new pair. I finally wore out my last pair that I had since they first came out. So this is my brand new pair. I actually haven't had these hunting yet. So wearing those. And then I don't have my boots in here, but I'll be wearing the Kenetrek Mountain Extremes uninsulated. Boring choice, but effective. I've worn those a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is my bino harness, marsupial, fully enclosed, magnetic. Does stay open when you want it to. It magnets to the bottom. Inside I have Leica GeoVid rangefinder binos, 10x42s. Got some earplugs in the front, hunting license, tags, Archer's Allen wrench kit for scope turrets and things like that. Bug net.
Have you weighed this?
No.
You have a Skeletal, right?
Yep.
So you can buy bits for the Skeletal that fit this.
I know.
You could carry just those bits and you'd save like 5 or 6 ounces.
That would not be 5 or 6 ounces. This thing doesn't weigh 5 ounces.
It weighs 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't weigh 5 or 6.
Save 2 or 3 ounces.
Okay, I'm also not one of the nerds that weighs their bino harness. This is what it is. I don't care. Okay, on the right side, and this is just habit, I always have the same stuff in a bino harness. Wind checker bottle that's probably half empty, and a predator call. And then on the back, I do like on this one that it's got a stretch panel on the back. Yep. My last one did not. I can stuff my phone in there.
Yep, gotta have that.
That's handy. So super simple there. Everybody else has had the marsupial gear harnesses for years. This is my first one.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. Oh, I'm set on it at this point. I was sick and tired of wearing the brand that I was last time. Anyway, that's actually half the reason that I bought that marsupial one. I'll reach over here and grab a few more things that are just quickly grabbed. I usually carry some kind of a microfiber absorbent cloth like this. Doesn't weigh a whole lot, but I have found that because I bring a down sleeping bag, I like to be able to wipe the condensation off the outside of my bag in the morning before I stuff it back in the stuff sack wet. So if you do perspire in your sleep if you're a warm sleeper like I am. And you wake up in the morning, the inside of your bag will be dry if you're using a down bag, but the outside face fabric will have some moisture on it. So I just take this thing, open it up, wipe off my bag, let it sit, open the tent for a few minutes before I pack it in, let it kind of air dry a little bit, and then I'll stuff it back in the stuff sack. I also wear glasses, so this is a way overkill glasses cleaning cloth, but it works. And then it's a glassing pad, one of the old Stealthy Hunter ones. I know you're going to hate on me for still using a Stealthy Hunter thing, but this one is well worn and bloody.
Got to do that. I don't know why. Pick it up and.
So, anyway,
yeah,
you can hate on me for still using it, but guess what? I have it, so get over it. Rifle cover, same thing. Stealthy cover rifle or Stealthy Hunter rifle cover. These obviously are made by Peaks now. Doesn't weigh a whole lot, and I found that I like it carrying it in a pack. It's just a little bit of peace of mind for a few ounces, man.
I agree. That's one thing I am carrying is.
I know that people are going to go nuts.
And when I've got my rifle strapped into a pack, and I pull my pack off, and I've got to set it down, I really don't have to worry about it.
People are going to go nuts. Why would you carry that sheep hunting? All the ounce counters are going to be jumping up and down about this one. Rifle sling, I know I could go with a lighter sling, but I like one that actually sticks to my shoulder strap because when I'm carrying a rifle sheep hunting, if I don't want to attach it to my pack, but I want it to be out of my hand, then I will loop the sling over my shoulder strap and then buckle my chest strap through the sling so that holds it in place, right? So I need to have a sling that actually grips my shoulder strap. If I used my lightweight paracord sling, then it would slide. So I have a skinnier version of what would be called like the rubber claw strap for a sling. Some guys don't bring a sling at all. Whatever. Spartan Javelin, I think this is the Pro Hunt. Yeah, the Pro Hunt bipod. So this does twist and extend out to there. Got little spike feet on the bottom that you can pull these rubber cups off for extended, and got a little pivot on there, left, right, so you can adjust your horizontal. The rifle, this is my Forbes New Ultralight Arms, whatever you want to call it. This is a 25-06. It was rebarreled with a 1-in-8 twist barrel, so I can shoot some of the newer 25 cal projectiles and stabilize the bullets, whereas normally 25-06s come with 1-in-10 twist barrels. The gun itself is pretty lightweight for what it is. This is the factory stock, factory action, and trigger and all that stuff. The trigger is a touch heavy, but it's clean. I can live with it. Tally scope rings. I've thought about going to something a little bit sturdier than those, but finding rings for this particular action is not as easy as it was 20 years ago or even 15 years ago. The scope is a Leica Amplis 6i 3-18 by 44. So pretty basic there. It does have a not locking, but it has a 0 stop built into it. I just went shooting yesterday and shot this one out to a few hundred yards. It's shooting great with 2 different types of ammo that I'll be having. One for longer shots, one for shorter shots. I might shoot a caribou on this trip. So that's why I'm even bringing a rifle. It's habit for me to bring a rifle anyway, but I really want to just take this gun out. I've shot it a bunch.
What's it weigh as set up?
So with the bipod and the sling and the rifle cover and the scope, but no ammo, I think we're at like 8.5 pounds.
Oh, that's like exactly what I am with my Tika.
Yeah. With the bipod and everything too?
I don't know if the bipod's in there, but it's loaded.
Yeah.
That's with the ammo.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty close to the same. It's not what I would call a featherweight type rifle, but it's light enough, and it's going to do the job just fine.
Well, you probably can't get one for that, but you're going to hunt 26 stock on that?
I inquired about a different brand of aftermarket stock for this, and I never heard back from a different company. So I will have to inquire about a Hunt 26.
Keep looking at that backfire stock for my Tika, but they haven't released anything but the Remington 700 action.
They don't make it for Tikas yet?
They said they're going to. I didn't see it on the website. I looked on my phone briefly one day. It was out of stock and said it comes back into stock every few days and sells out right away.
Interesting. I'm not surprised.
No, me either. All right, let's get into the pack, huh?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get into the cavernous object that is my IA 8K.
Yeah.
So
And that's the reason you carry an IA 8K is so you can just take everything.
Yeah, you can take all the luxury items. So I'm going to scooch this over here, and then we'll hoist the pack up onto the desk. And we'll start on the outside and work our way into the guts of the matter. On the outside, I've got a Nalgene holder. I like to carry a 1.5 liter. It's not the lightest Nalgene, but it's old and it's got all my favorite stickers on it.
Yeah.
So 1.5 liter Nalgene. We'll start on the outside horseshoe. We'll unclip the lid, open that up here. On the outside, I like to keep the stuff that is going to be maybe a little more readily needed. This is a tarp from Ape Equipment. I'm actually borrowing this from Mo. Is my head out of the screen there when I stand up? No.
When you sit down?
No, we're good.
Oh.
So, Ape Equipment tarp. This is not using Dyneema. I'm borrowing this from you because you got a new tarp this year. What's the fabric on this one?
That one is Ultra TNT, I believe.
Okay. So, Dyneema-esque.
Yes.
It's about 10 by 10, and it weighs 14.5 ounces as it is right now. I don't have guy lines on it.
I think I added some strings and stuff. There might be some guy line in the case with it. But
haven't opened it up yet.
Yeah.
So, ultralight tarp. Rain gear. First Light did me dirty and released their Bora rain gear yesterday, which is the lighter weight rain gear that I wanted.
I haven't even looked at stuff.
From First Light. It's 17 ounces per piece. Yeah.
What is it, like 3-layer? 3.5?
Yeah, it's 3-layer. And it's got built-in mechanical stretch, pit zips. Yeah. Looks awesome. So, I have my First Light Omen Storm Shelter rain gear that I love, but it's a touch heavier than my Kuiu Yukon rain gear set that I've taken sheep hunting before because it is, well, more comfortable to wear than rubber rain gear, and you can have that argument in the comment section if you care. But I hate wearing rubber rain gear if I don't have to, and I've, knock on wood, never really had a problem with it, especially sheep hunting. If it's raining that hard, I've got a tarp out and I'm sitting underneath of it.
You manage your stuff right and you're fine.
But in the extreme event, I know if there was a bunch of wind and, this big catastrophe of a weather storm, I guess I could end up regretting it, but oh well, to each their own. So getting to the main compartment of the bag here, I've got everything kind of stacked in here right now just for the sake of containment. Once I actually get started hiking, I'll have like the spotter and tripod. The spotter will be probably in the spotter sleeve, and then the tripod will be on the outside of the pack. So we'll start with that. This is a tripod I already own. I do have a different head for it. This is the Tricer LP head. It's like 5 ounces. This is the Slick Carbon 634 tripod. Yes, the Pro CF 634. The tripod itself weighs about 2 pounds. It's too heavy. It's too tall. I know that, but I have it. And sometimes that's just how you have to go with it. Spotting scope. This is the Swarovski. I believe this is the ATS 20 to 60 by 80 millimeter. Angled spotter. You can see that. I do have the Olin digiscoping adapter on the back of this one, and I have the Olin phone case for my iPhone. I still have the factory caps for it. I really should get some kind of a soft cover, but I always try to pack it where it's somewhat cushioned. So, again, slightly heavier than I certainly could be with the spotting scope and tripod, but that's what I have. This is the NeoAir X-Therm Thermarest sleeping pad.
It's massive.
Yeah, it's 23 ounces, I think. It's a 7.4 R rating. It's quite warm. And it's durable.
Yeah.
And the inflated sack is in there too.
This is basically for R rating, what you would want if you were like below freezing, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how big around it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my sleeping pad. It's warm. It's durable. Inside of here, this is my blue battery bag. I like color coordinated stuff. This is my power banks, or these are my power banks. 2 20,000 milliamp hour Nitecore batteries.
Yeah.
I don't have a solar panel in here this year. I don't think I'm going to bring one.
NB 20,000 third gens, if anybody wants them all.
There you go. So 2 Nitecore 20,000s. I know that's probably too much, but 2 weeks, and I'm not bringing a solar panel because I think they're kind of a pain. For shelter, this is the Hilleberg Solo Red Label. It's 5 pounds and change. It's a 4-season tent, 9mm poles, and I have stakes in here as well. It's strong.
Yeah.
It's very sturdy. Again, I have other lighter tents, but I like the Solo, and the area that we're going is known for the wind.
It's peace of mind. Yeah.
And I think it's the best sheep hunting shelter I've got. This is my kill kit bag in here. This is an old Stone Glacier, kit sack organizer for your pack. I have a wad of, these are actually Browning ultralight game bags. In here, I have 2 knives. This is the Wrangle ultralight from Alaska Blade Works, and then a small titanium handled goat knife that takes Havalon blades, and I've got a couple of 60As in here. Yeah, just in case. Then I got a little diamond butterfly folder sharpener in there, and this little kit sack is what I need to process an animal. Some toilet paper, wet wipes. This is counted out wet wipes for a couple of weeks, like 1 a day. Stove, this is the Jetboil Stash. I think as it weighs without the fuel canister inside of it is like 8 ounces. So it's nice putting the fuel canister in there. I think these fuel canisters are like 7 point something ounces per can. So
stove without the fuel can is like 7.2, or closer to 7 than 8.
Mine weighed like 8.2.
Something's wrong with your scale then, man. I don't know what to tell
you. Could be. That it could be, Edward.
Is that with the lighter in it, maybe?
I don't have a lighter in this in this pot. I have a lighter in a different thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll get that back together later.
That's a learned skill, putting the stash back together.
Well, I'm just trying to keep going here. Yeah. Thermarest pillow. This is 6 ounces, but I like it. I've had the same pillow for a long time. I like to sleep good. 6 ounces. There's a little bit of down in here, actually.
Yeah, the cover is honestly a lot of the weight on these. But.
Yeah, sure. But again, I've had it for years, and I sleep really good with it. So I don't mind it. Little titanium cup. This is a Snow Peak 450 weight single wall titanium mug. I know Mo likes an insulated cup because he likes to have hot coffee for 20 minutes. I don't really care.
I just want it to be hot for 5.
I don't really care. I'm not going to get this out on camera because then it'll make a giant fluffy mess, but this is my sleeping bag. This is a small-sized stuff sack from Event. You can buy these Sportsman's Warehouse, Beaver Sports, if you're in Fairbanks, wherever. This is the Western Mountaineering Apache 15-degree down bag. Super light. It's right at 2 pounds. I like the bag. It's light, packable, 15-degree, does the job just fine. In here is my insulation. I have the Barney's Super Cub synthetic puffy jacket. I'll go ahead and get it out so that people can actually see it. I'm also bringing the Stone Glacier Grumman down vest. It's like 7.5 or 8 ounces, I think. That's my mid-layer insulation. Most of the time, I would imagine I'm going to have, if I'm just stopping for a little bit and I want to just throw something warm on, but not a full-on puffy coat, I'll throw this on over top of my Barney's pullover, that tail wheel. Then I'll put that Jetstream LT on over top of this. We'll be golden. Traditionally, I've carried the Sitka Ambient 200, which I think is too heavy for this kind of application, so I'm saving a bunch of weight by going to a down vest instead for like a mid-layer insulation. I could go without the down vest and just have this as insulation, which is probably what I should do, or bring something lighter than this altogether, but I know this and I like this. This is a 2-layer face fabric using Event fabric as well. Primaloft gold down, I believe it is, or gold synthetic insulation anyway. It does have a hood. The hood does zip off, but considering that the only other insulating hoods that I have is going to be my mid-layer pullover. So having a warm hood to zip over if it's cold and snowing and it's actually really cold out, the hood is kind of nice to have. The synthetic jacket, it's overkill. I know that. It is heavier than what I need, but considering the fact that the only other insulation I have is a down vest, this is going to work just fine. And I've taken this sheep hunting before. That's actually a relatively new coat. I haven't had that one sheep hunting yet, but I had the old one and loved it. Moving on to clothing. Extra pair of darn tough socks, extra pair of bottoms, and a pair of lightweight long johns. These are polyester long john bottoms. And then I have another pair of liner socks in here as well. And that's all the spare clothing that I'll have. I still find it surprising that some people will bring like an extra shirt or an extra pair of pants.
No way.
So I don't feel so bad about bringing a slightly heavier than average puffy jacket. In here, this is some handwear. I'm still on the fence about bringing these. These are the Sitka mountain gloves. Those are discontinued.
Okay.
So those are Gore Windstopper. I was going to just hike with those instead of the Stone Glacier like mechanics type gloves.
Yep.
And then have these as my second gloves, which I still might do, or eliminate those altogether. That's probably more likely what I'm going to do, because my other, this is a Smart Wool beanie and net gator little merino deal. My other gloves are the Stone Glacier fleece.
That is a lot of gloves.
Well, like I said, I was going to just wear these the whole time, but I don't think that's a good idea. These are probably just going to get ditched. And for insulating gloves, I'll have these fleece gloves. These are like 3 or 4 ounces. And then these are Hestra Gore-Tex mitts. Super lightweight. I forget exactly what they weigh. But if my hands get cold, I can stuff them in these fleece gloves. And then if I need waterproof or windproof, I can put them in these mitts. I'm probably just going to go with this for a glove system and just eliminate those Sitka ones. And I can cut a little bit of weight there. I just put them in there, just, you know how it goes. You're just shotgunning ideas, trying to figure out, do I want to carry that? Do I not? And I think this is all I'm going to bring for gloves. And the nice part is with this 2-piece glove mitt system, I can take this, separate them, turn the mitts inside out to dry them out, put the fleece gloves in my sleeping bag at night, and they'll be dry in the morning. So that's gloves, mitts, and a lightweight net gator. I think the net gator is actually from Outdoor Research, and the little beanie is a Smart Wool. I don't need much for a hat and net gator, but if it's actually that cold, it's nice to have a little bit of something for your head and neck. Protect your neck. Water. These are the Hydra Pack 3-liter and 4-liter bladders. In the 4-liter I have right now, this is their filter head. Little couple ounce filter that they have in there that you can buy separately and just replace the factory cap with a filter cap. It's handy, super lightweight. You can just squeeze your water right out of it. It's pretty fast.
Yeah, and then but you don't have to filter your water at the source. You can just filter it as needed.
You can just fill it up, and then on demand you can just squeeze out filtered water. If I even need to filter. I don't always, and I don't know how much I will be in that trip, but we'll see. Nice to have it in case. This is a little first aid kit. Stealthy used to make these as well. Now Peaks makes them. It's the same stuff. So I took a few things out of here. I might take a few things out of here again.
Looks like you've got quite a bit in there. No?
I just stuffed it all back in.
You don't have it packed the same way. I think the Sam Splint's centered with on mine.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take out that little Sam Splint. I don't think I'm going to carry that thing. But that, as it is right now, is about 10 ounces. So now we're down to the lid. Almost done. Actually,
there's another pocket.
I forgot. There's another pocket in here that I stuffed. This is actually from Stone Glacier. Again, I have it, and I've used it, and I like it. It's the size of the load shelf of most packs. Nice and narrow. You can fit boned out meat in here quite nicely. It's a little bit stained from other meat that I've had in there before, but you can bone out an entire sheep and usually fit it in here just fine. You get all the meat in there. The bottom of this bag is not taped, so when it's on your load shelf, the blood can drain out the bottom, but it keeps your pack from getting soaked in blood. and from dripping all down your back. So I keep that inside of there. And then we get up to the lid, and I've got a whole bunch of junk stuffed in here. This is not what I'm actually going to carry my ammo in. This is just a box of 20. I am bringing 20 rounds on this hunt just because.
20 total?
20 total. Yeah. Some cordage. Now, I'm not going to carry all this cordage. I have a spot that I have to stop and stash some things on the way in. Won't get into that, but I'm going to need to hoist some stuff up a tree at some point. So when I do that, I'll unwind another 20 feet and have a little bit of extra with me of actual parachute cord, but this is just in there because I'll need it right at the beginning. Little shower and a towel wipe. I got this at REI. I know it's pretty crunchy of me, but this is my shower. I don't like jumping in the creeks and trying to wash off like that. If I'm out there for 7 or 8 days and I actually feel like I want to wipe down and feel clean, I carry one of these. It weighs just a couple of ounces. It unfolds to about that big. I guess I should probably just look at this and tell you how big it is, in case you're listening. It's probably about, okay.
Yay by yay.
It's 12 by 24 inches.
I was listening to a podcast the other day.
Yay by yay.
The guy goes, it was about like yay.
Pack cover from Initial Ascent. A couple of ounces there. I think about 7. I wear glasses. I mentioned that earlier. So I have a pair of sunglasses, prescription, and a backup pair of normal glasses. I hate having to carry extra of those, but I kind of need them. Without them, I'm in trouble. Ultralight titanium spork, and a second one for my hunting partner because I know he doesn't have one. This is another little kit sack. In here is some gear repair, tenacious tape,
Yep.
a little bit of wire ties. I have 2 Bic lighters in here, a headlamp, an ultralight sewing kit, and before you say sewing kit, it weighs 1 ounce. Leave me alone. And an inReach. And I don't have the newest, lightest weight inReach. So I have that to work with for now. I have another half a roll of toilet paper in here just as emergency, because you never know. And that's really about it for the lid. So I think that's about it, man.
All right.
Questions, comments, concerns?
What did you decide not to bring that you normally would have in the past?
The Sitka Ambient 200. I had brought a second water bottle in the past.
Yep, that's right.
I'm not doing that this year. Cutting weight on that. Let's see here. What else would it have been? Well, I'm saving weight with not bringing the Hilleberg tarp, which I brought last time, which for 3 guys is nice. But
you can, even if you need to, you can fit 3 guys under that.
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
just fine.
I think going with a lighter weight tarp is the way to go. It's not sil nylon. Let's see, what else? I swapped out tripod heads.
Yep.
I hated the other one that I was using. Horrible. Saved a lot of weight there. And I don't think a whole lot else,
We're
really.
going to bring a chair?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, so I'm not bringing a chair this year. Neither are you, for that matter.
No.
I was on the fence about that. I thought I was going to bring my Crazy Creek, but man, the more I thought about it, the more it just sounded like a dumb idea. Yeah, and like I said, when it comes to the final pack weight, and this is, when I say my pack weight, I'm talking about minus food, but with a gun. This, what I'm going to be carrying on the trail without food, once it's distributed properly, I'll be right about 46, 47 pounds without food, which is not bad. I've heard other pack dumps, even recently, where I've heard other guys that are even experienced sheep hunters talking about your pack should be, 60 pounds without food.
Man,
going in.
I have carried a 60-pound pack without food.
And that's 70 plus pounds if you're going in for over a week with food. And that's not even thinking about how much water you might have to carry once you get somewhere. And that's another thing too. If I have a full capacity of water here, we're talking about
That's another thing you changed.
8.5 liters.
Was you had used to carry that big 8-liter bladder.
I did.
Quite heavy.
You're right. So I went to 2 smaller bladders that are combined lighter than what that
And
one
you used to
was.
carry a steri pen.
I did carry a steri pen. You're right. So I did carry a steri pen before. I'm ditching that this year. I don't need it. I don't think I ever actually used it sheep hunting.
I used mine a few times.
Did you?
But yeah, and I needed it when I did, but it was stagnant pools.
Yeah.
That didn't taste too bad otherwise, but
yeah,
the steri pen, when you can see the stuff swimming around in there before you use a steri pen, you know you want it.
Yeah.
It worked great, but
sure,
it weighs more than that squeeze system does.
Mm-hmm.
And in a situation where I probably won't, or if I don't know, to me the steri pen is a great thing just in case.
Yeah.
But when I'm pretty much probably going to filter everything I drink,
right,
I need to be able to. I either need to be able to collect and filter later, or filter immediately, quickly.
Right.
And I have. I picked up this year a Grail GeoPress, which is that bottle filter that squeezes together, where you scoop the water and squeeze together. Mm-hmm. By far the fastest filter.
Yeah.
I filtered out of the Chena River with that thing, and it tasted like a bottle of water from the store.
Really?
It was incredible.
Huh.
Now the filter cartridges, because they work so well, like where it's like 350 filters at most, and they're $35 a piece. Like it's
okay
for 350 filters, which most people didn't even get that many out of before it gets too slow.
Right.
Especially if you're doing a lot of silty stuff or something.
Yeah.
And the filter and the bottle, whole thing is over a pound. So you're talking about a filter that's a pound.
Yeah.
So I almost carried that because of the speed, because I could literally stop, scoop, squeeze, and walk without even taking my pack off.
Stop, scoop, squeeze.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to carry.
Also, how to poop in the woods.
I was going to carry my Nalgene on one side.
Come on, you got to acknowledge that one, man. Stop, scoop, squeeze. Come on, that's got to be a T-shirt.
Yes. All right. All our T-shirts are going to have poop on them in one way or another. So I was going to carry Nalgene on one side, because I have two. I actually ordered a second Initial Ascent water bottle holder, so I could carry the filter and my Nalgene. And well, of course, with weight, getting rid of both the extra holder and the filter, the big filter, saved a lot of weight.
I thought of something else.
What's that?
Stuff sacks.
Yeah, see, you're talking about getting rid of stuff sacks, and you still got a lot of stuff sacks, man. I mean, you're all dry bags, but like,
okay,
you're way more.
Okay, hold on.
Than I kind of expected, honestly.
I only have 2.
Well, you've got all of your. I mean, I guess that's pretty small, but all your sleeping bag is in one.
Sleeping bag, puffy gear, extra clothes,
socks,
and gloves.
That's
socks
in
are
there.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
right,
and
it still was more than I kind of expected.
None of these stuff sacks are the heavy ones. These are all the Ultrasil super light ones. These are like an ounce or 2 a piece.
Except for your Puffies one. That's
a
thicker one.
But. Yeah. That one is like 3 ounces.
I'm kind of going more towards the Exo guys kind of theory of like the more you pack stuff separately, the more room it takes up. So I'm kind of splitting that a little bit more. I've got like one big Ultra Still pack that I kind of stick all my clothes and sleeping bag in, but loosely.
I might combine this one into here and just do one of these. Because this is just gloves, hat, and neck gaiter.
Yeah, and you're not like
And that could easily fit in here, and I would shave.
I mean, honestly, the gloves could just, if you have room for them, stuff in your lid. But.
Yeah, but to me, it's organization. I like organization. That's just me.
Yeah.
But not everybody has to do it the way I do it.
Everybody does it a different way.
And that's not what this is to say.
Purely commenting on what you've done.
Yeah, I get that.
I have much less of, I used to carry like my stove, cup, and spork were in one thing. And, and I like that.
Sure.
Like, when we went family camping this year, backpacking, I had an 85, 90-pound pack. And I definitely did that a lot because I had my IA8K was maxed, right?
Sure.
But I needed to be able to find stuff. But yeah, my pack this year, like I said, I'll do a pack dump. I'm not going to talk a lot about the actual specific gear, but we can talk. We can. I'm not going to make a big deal about that right now. I'm about the same weight as you are, a little less, but with my camera gear.
Yeah. Well, you have a lighter tripod than I do.
Yeah.
You've got a lot lighter spotting scope than I do. You're not carrying a pound and a half or more puffy jacket.
Yep, I won't be carrying as much ammo.
Your tent is significantly lighter.
Significantly, yeah.
So, and you're not carrying a tarp. So, yeah.
I may or may not be carrying a tarp, but
yeah. As it stands right now, you have several things that are a lot lighter than the stuff that I have.
Correct.
For sure. Like I said, the tripod I could easily shave a pound off of. Easily. Because that right now, as it is with the Tricer LP head, is 2 pounds and 5 ounces. That's 2 pounds of tripod, for sure. And I didn't mention, but it's worth mentioning, I did add some Luco tape around the tripod legs here, enough for a couple foot's worth of foot taping in case I or the hunting partner gets blistery feet. Haven't had to use it except for an ankle scratch one time that I actually did need Luco tape for. But other than that, for blistering, I haven't needed it, but it's nice to have it. For sure.
Yeah. You know the thing, I'm not going to take any kind of Crocs or creek crossing stuff.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. I am bringing Crocs.
You're bringing Crocs or sealskin?
Crocs.
Socks. Crocs, you're going to Crocs?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm carrying anything for that. I'm just going to play the...
Crocs are kind of stupid. You think they're nice and light, but they're 14 ounces.
I think mine are a pound. I've got a little bigger feet.
Yeah. 14 ounces.
Yeah.
For a stupid pair of shoes.
Yeah. No, I know. And it's like...
I should not be carrying them, and I might not.
I'm just going to kind of... Well, I've got good boots.
Yeah.
That are the same ones you're wearing.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And good gaiters. And, I'm taking my time with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take my time to find a good spot to cross.
Or just take off the boots.
Yeah, or depending on what it comes down to. Yes, if I'm trying to kill an animal actively, then whatever it takes.
Yeah, I mean,
but
at some point, wet feet is just going to be a part of the sheep hunt.
Right.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have thought about, and I'm still deliberating on, and I actually have it in my pack list. I have it weighed with sealskin socks. So I said I had an extra pair of Darn Tough hiking socks, a pair of liner socks that I'll actually be wearing, and then I have my pack weight including, and I didn't show it, they're not in there right now, but with a pair of sealskin waterproof socks. They're like a Gore-Tex type of actual sock. I used to bring them sheep hunting all the time. It's nice to have some kind of a waterproof sock. That way if your boot gets soaking wet, you can actually put on a liner sock and then the sealskin socks, and your feet actually stay somewhat dry. The idea is good. If you do have problems with blisters, that can be a nice idea. I know some guys that swear by that, and that way they're just like, yeah, whatever, my boots are wet, no big deal. I have dry feet. That doesn't matter. So I might stick with bringing those. So that would be different from the last few times I've been out sheep hunting. The rain gear is the same as last time. I brought the same Kuiu.
Dude, I looked that stuff up.
Yukon.
The new
you looked up the Bora?
stuff, the Bora, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just barely over 2 pounds for the whole get up.
Yep.
Whereas the First Light Omen is over 3.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, and there's zip-off bottoms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess the other ones were, but the zipper looks way more convenient.
Yeah.
It doesn't go all the way up to the top where it would separate.
No, it doesn't need
4 inches down.
Yeah, it doesn't need to.
Man.
Yep, that's how these Kuiu ones are too. Man. Which, don't get me wrong, the Yukon rain gear is great rain gear. I got nothing against it, but it is heavy for what it is.
Uh-huh.
I have had other brands of lighter weight, like in this weight class.
Yeah.
I've had other brands of light-ish weight rain gear, and I've gotten soaked in it. I have not gotten soaked in the Yukon rain gear from Kuiu or the First Light Omen rain gear, or the Sitka Kodiak for that matter, but that's not a sheep hunting coat.
Right.
Well, you can shop that later.
Yeah, no, I
Let's make
was going to
podcast
make a
the
comment.
podcast.
Yeah, right. I was going to make a comment about it, but
We're just going to start drooling over new rain gear now.
yeah, well, I don't know, man. I'm looking at those going, man, I could get those here in time. Maybe. Be playing the lottery on that one, I think.
Yeah.
With the way the USPS is right now for Alaska, if you're watching, call me.
Mo has some last minute things in the mail that are sitting
my tent
300 miles away.
My tent. Okay, Peak Solitude 1. I pulled the trigger. Like, you know what? I shouldn't, but it's worth it. It's worth it for weight and whatnot, and the size of everything about it. I love everything I see about it. I ordered it 2 weeks ago. It is sitting in Anchorage, and it says it will be here a week from now. That's
sheep season is barely 2 weeks away.
I'm leaving. I'm trying. I might try to leave the evening of the 6th.
Yeah.
Right. And
you're going to have just enough time to set it up.
I know.
Usually take it down.
You get a new tent and you're in the yard setting it up all the different ways you can think of, so you can learn about it. Like, how do I set this up? With the floor,
right?
So that the floor doesn't get wet, right? Because the way they show you setting up is floor first, then you put, But I don't.
Yeah, but if it's pouring rain,
yeah, correct. I want to be able to sure, that's ideal, but. And with the fact that there's already snow in all the mountains in Alaska, and it was 36 degrees in North Pole yesterday, or today.
This morning,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 42 here when I woke up.
Yeah, my
chilly.
I have a little desk and outdoor sensor, and 36 degrees at my house.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. It's July.
It was 42 the other day, and I was like, man, that's cold. And this morning, I was like, whoa, better use the glow plugs. But
man. Don't get me started on wintertime yet. We're not ready for that. We got a lot of hunting to do before snow flying.
And even after snow flying this year. Yeah.
That's right.
But my hunt plan this year, I want to talk a little bit about my last year. I'm not going to go through the whole story, but gear failure. I was not ready physically, and I went in far too cocky about who I was and what I was doing. And all of that led to there was no option but to leave. Right? I had no plan B, right? I didn't think I needed one.
Yep.
And so that has led to this year meticulously trying to think through every little thing, trying to go more of a run and gun scenario than any kind of, it's a different area. So it's definitely more of a run and gun area instead of a spike. And I can, if I need to, I will. But
sure.
Honestly, it's nice to do that for a few days sometimes.
It's a lot of country to cover out that way.
It's nice to do that sometimes, but sometimes it's just moving camp every day. I'm going in like 3 to 4 days early, try to get ahead of the crowd and hopefully get on a ram. I'll shoot as soon as there's shooting light. Morning of the 10th.
That'd be good.
It'd be a nice change.
It'd be an awesome thing. It'd be even better is if I inReached you and you inReached me and both of us had the same text to send to one another on the 10th. Like, we got one or I got one.
I am going in with high hopes but low expectations.
Yeah.
Lots of plan Bs, C, D, etc.
Yeah.
And the ability to change and move quickly.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. That's a lot of sheep hunting is just learning the area. Right. You get in there, you see what's there. If there's more to be seen, then you see it. Once you've seen it and you've actually thoroughly seen what's there, you move on. If they're not there, then they're not going to be there tomorrow. Maybe sometimes that happens.
Right. Or and the other thing is if I get into an area and I'm seeing a lot of hunters in the easier to access part, because even when you think you're in the middle of nowhere, you walk around a bend.
There's David Goggins.
And there's a tent, right? Yeah. And you pass the tent and you move on and you let them hunt their thing and you move on, you get to another spot and you set up camp and the next morning you're hiking down the valley and you run into 2 more hunters. And it's just when you thought you were in the middle of nowhere. And you are, but apparently everybody wants to hunt in that spot. Anyhow, so if I see hunters a lot in the area, I'm just going to pack up and truck.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. And that's an advantage that you have going by yourself, is there is
Right.
no one to tell you, my feet kind of hurt today. Let's just hang out, or I kind of need a break,
It
or
all comes down to me.
yeah,
and
you are
that's
the only
part of the
variable.
reason I have gone this year, like all those little things, like where every ounce I can cut.
Yeah, exactly.
I have one luxury item. It's 3.5 ounces.
Which is
My insulated cup.
oh, yeah, yeah.
As far as I know, that is my only luxury item that I'm bringing.
Yeah.
I'm bringing more. I'm bringing the 40,000 of power, like you are.
Mhm. I don't look at that as a luxury because neither of us are bringing solar panels, and we're going to be out there for potentially 2 weeks.
Correct, and also a huge help to me when hiking alone is audiobooks. I can hike for 10 hours nonstop on an audiobook if it's a good audiobook. It just keeps me from focusing on being wet or cold or sore or all of the above. And it's something that, and I work to audiobooks daily, and
I think you and me are a lot the same way in that department. We are part of that generation where the blue collar worker lives with Bluetooth earbuds.
That's it. Well, correct. But one thing that I found very interesting is the number of people my age and younger who try to listen to audiobooks or podcasts while working, and they can't focus on both.
Really?
It has as long as I can remember. When I was a kid, we're building models of airplanes and everything else. I would turn on Daniel Boone, and Andy Griffith, and whatever show I was into at the time. I would watch a show and build a model, and I would have more focus and more productivity. And I'm the same way.
You were such a smart little guy.
And I'm the same. I'm the same way now. If I've got a good audiobook or podcast, I'm more productive at work. When I'm by myself, obviously when I've got a crew or a bunch of working with other people, they want to talk, It's like when I go home, my wife wants to talk. No, I'm just kidding.
Got those cotton picking kids just want to hang out with dad when you get home.
That too, yeah. Well, the kids are going to be in bed when I get home tonight. But I think, what time is it?
Oh, they're still up.
Yeah, one of them's still up.
Yeah. But I agree. I think that being able to listen to an audiobook or a podcast or something like that, I'm going to have audiobooks downloaded, obviously, for this sheep hunt that I'm going on. And I'm not as much of a hike with an audiobook because I'm usually with somebody, and that there's a communication factor there that I don't want to just zone somebody out if they want to chat.
And it depends on the circumstances of the situation. If you're just trucking to get somewhere.
With guiding, I don't want to have an earbud in. I don't do that because I'm responsible for that person and their well-being. And if they fall and tweak their ankle and they say, "Ow," and they're 20 yards behind me, I need to be able to hear that. And I'm not going, "Oh, yeah," and listen to an audiobook, or chuckling because it's a comedy bit or something like that, So I don't know. And obviously I'm not guiding this sheep hunt, but I'm the one that's been sheep hunting before.
You're in a very similar situation.
I'm in a very similar role and capacity in this, in that I'm taking someone who hasn't been before. So I am responsible for how this goes. That's how I'm looking at it. So to me, I'll listen to something like if we've stopped and we're glassing, right? Or if I'm in my tent at night, even in my tent before I go to sleep, I'll turn on an audiobook for like 15, 20 minutes, puts me to sleep. And then I take out the earbud and go to bed.
Yeah, I figured this out when we were in the Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
And you would leave me. I went out and did caribou.
Yeah.
Right. And so then
Thank you.
Well, that's what I was there for. So I had audiobooks with me that I thought I was going to listen to a lot more of. So I'd bought and downloaded a bunch and hadn't listened to almost anything at that point. And then of course on that hunt I also carried a real book. Which
talked me into it too.
Man, part of me wants to do that again. I loved it, but
I'm not doing it.
Not right now. A different kind of hunt, a different kind of sheep hunt. I would, if it was a base camp type area, where I would carry my bigger, heavier tent. I would carry my Kuiu Storm Star, and in a real book, in a chair, because all that stuff's going to sit there, right? Even, and I might move it a couple times, but it's going to sit most of the time. I'm not going to be hunting with that on my back. Anyhow, but with the caribou, carrying the caribou out, and then sometimes I'd go get water because, you think because you're camping in a drainage with a creek running through it, you have water, but there's a mile where the water just disappears and it comes back out of the ground, and so you gotta, so I would get left behind to gather water or whatever, in those kinds of situations. And then on our mad hike through the
where there was no water coming out of the ground.
No, there was water on our last hike, back through the canyon.
Yes, I forgot about that.
In the rain.
Yeah.
On that one, there was you were in the front, Hunter was there, and I put myself in the back. I felt like that was the best place for me to be, and so I put in an earbud, and it was miserable. We were all miserable, soaking wet. We didn't even stop to put on rain gear.
Oh, the storm hit us, and I turned around and said, "I'm already wet."
Yep, that's what we all said.
What do you guys think? And you guys were like, "Yeah, let's just keep going."
And so, but at that point, I'm like, "All right, I'm listening to something because it helps me to not focus on how I feel."
Yeah. I want to go home. I'm cold. My feet hurt. My pack is heavy. We just walked all the way down there. Now we got to come back. This is dumb.
I took down my tent, went to a spot, set up my tent.
We all did. Yeah. We set up camp.
Hiked 400 yards.
All right. We'll stop it there. We'll stop it there. Yeah. We encountered a situation that made us
I wasn't going to
leave.
say anything. I was going to say hiked 400 yards, hiked back. Yeah. And all the way back through that canyon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That was a cool canyon, though.
That's a beautiful spot.
I would go back there just to hike it. You know what I mean?
I'll go back there with something else in my pocket.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Because exactly what you mean.
What the play, just everything about
it.
it.
Yeah, it was a very cool spot.
Or if I had no other reason to go back and I had the opportunity, I would just.
I had an SD there. Scenic dump.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Another T-shirt idea.
I told you, all our shirts are going to have poop on them.
Oh, we could be the Fecal Brothers podcast. That's got to be out there somewhere. I don't know how we got off
I'm the
on
one
that.
saying weird stuff on the show.
Oh,
man.
come on, man. Get in the spirit. It's sheep season.
I mean, I'm in the spirit of sheep season, but
yeah, I'm kind of fired up to go.
I'm fired up to go.
I'm ready to go.
I'm also kind of hey, I'm running out of time. I have a side job that I've been working all summer, evenings, weekends. And I finally told the guy last night, actually, when I was up at his house working on it, all right, I got this part done. That's what we need to lift for. Lift is going back in a few days. After this, I'll see you after sheep season. Yeah. Because I have way too much stuff to do this weekend and everything else. And
only thing I have left yet to be done is I have some more food to get.
Yeah.
I need to fill out my day snackage, which is not much, and then a couple more freeze-drieds, and I'll be set.
Yeah,
for both of us.
I think I'm pretty set on freeze-drieds. I think I've got my drink stuff pretty well lined out. Coffee in the morning, tea at night.
You got purple drink?
Earl Grey a fake Earl Grey, basically, tea for at night.
Spit it out.
And then I was going to say it with bergamot.
The
bergamot.
I thought you were going to say burgundy.
No. You said purple, burgundy, close. Same color, basically. And then, my day snack thing, I still have to kind of...
Yeah.
I know most of what it's going to be. I've ordered some of it. I'm going to do some of those Sahel nuts and whatnot. We won't get too much into food in this one. Yeah.
I've got my food pretty well dialed.
But I've got to prep, and I'm going to prep my food to day bags and try to strip out everything out of packaging and put it in a
vac seal,
all that.
Yeah, me too.
I've got that to do. I've got to edit this podcast. I've got to finish editing that baiting video that's coming out this weekend when the podcast comes out.
And then do one more podcast.
Do another podcast, edit it, and...
Put diesel fuel in your truck.
That too.
Then get to your
and
drop-off.
Try to edit one more video. I want to try to put out this before I go. May not happen, but it might happen after. I have most of everything recorded for it, but we'll see. And that's not counting. Still got to go shoot my rifle.
I went and did that yesterday.
Yeah, I just haven't had time, so I'm going to do that this weekend, I guess.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and in between now and then, I'm driving down to Anchorage for work.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You got to go down there this week.
I'm driving down tomorrow morning. Yep. And I was going to fly back. Now it sounds like I'm driving back. So
Nice.
drive down, work some the next day, and then drive back.
The open road.
Yeah. Good audiobook listening time.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I was going to mention that earlier. I don't know how many hours of podcasts / audiobooks I consume.
I don't know what
in a
my
week.
podcast is, but Audible tracks your audiobook.
Oh, really?
At one point, one summer, I was averaging 100 hours a month of audiobooks. Which, when you think of work hours, it's not a lot, but when you think of like actual hours of listening, it's quite a bit. But yeah, no, I'm about 60 or so hours a month right now of audiobooks. But you can, it'll like tell you all your list, like how many hours and what days and.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big consumer when it comes to either podcasts or audiobooks.
I'm a top 10% listener on Audible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't you feel proud?
Oh, yeah. Means I'm educated, right?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, well, obviously.
That's a dirty, nasty library, but no, I'm just kidding. No, it's a lot of like Tom Clancy-esque, Jack Carr-esque novels, and
That's such the opposite of what I listen to.
I know it is.
All mine
it's
is
so
like
funny.
Old Mountain Man. Or,
I have some of that. Yeah.
That's like all of mine.
And then I have.
I don't think I've ever listened.
I was thinking about that the other day or yesterday or today or something about like because we've mentioned how our media consumption is so different.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is so you pretty regularly sit down and watch stuff on your TV, YouTube.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
You get home from work, you're eating dinner, you watch stuff. I just don't have that time in my life right now. I don't have a time I'm coming home, sitting down and watching stuff.
Sure.
Hasn't existed for years at this point. And like I might have a chance on Sunday evening when we get home from church. I'll watch something that I'll watch with the kids. Yeah. And so I'll pick something out that one of them says they want to watch and the other one's mad at me for it. But, we watched the latest Outdoor Tom,
Oh, nice.
And then I try to watch a gritty and like, I'm not gritty, This is boring. The other one's just glad that the TV's on, Like, oh yeah, colors. Anyway,
I don't know why that was so funny, but it was.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny. But anyway, so I think some of that has to do with the media consumption difference.
Sure.
Like because I'm more. I don't know. Obviously, it's taste and everything too. But yeah, no. Anyway, I've got a lot of like history books and stuff on there too.
My time on a TV goes drastically down in the summertime.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I got firewood to deal with. I got stuff in the garage to deal with. I've got dog stuff to deal with now.
I also think, you grew up wanting the mountain man hunting lifestyle in Alaska.
Okay.
You experienced it some, but you grew up not here.
Okay.
And so you had that constant like consumption of that because that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
I grew up in that lifestyle essentially.
Right.
To the point where for me I wasn't consuming all that stuff. I would watch hunting stuff with my dad, but it never interested me that much because we would go do it.
Yeah. See, to me,
and obviously, like I said, taste and everything.
Yeah. I don't think I watch it for that reason. Here's why. After this cough.
Very nice.
When I'm in the mood for a specific type of hunt, like right now, I'm focused on sheep hunting.
I will say lately, I have listened to many, many podcast episodes about sheep hunting.
I have been crushing sheep hunting podcasts, crushing them. That's all I've listened to for the last couple of weeks. I mean, I'm talking about going back into the archives from 4 or 5 years ago in like 4 or 5 different podcasts.
Yeah, I have specifically. I'm just like on Spotify searching Dall Sheep.
Yeah.
And like scrolling through like which ones look the most interesting, which ones are in Alaska. Started getting into NWT a little bit.
Yeah.
But Alaska's very unique and
in some ways, yes. So
the fact that we don't, fly in a helicopter here and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. But like the Hunt Backcountry podcast, the EXO guys, phenomenal podcast.
I've been listening
to their
ton of their
podcast.
stuff, yeah.
I've been listening to their podcast for years. I mean, almost as far back as I can even remember listening to podcasts at all. It was them and one other at the time that I started listening to when I first even heard of what a podcast
Is that
was.
Randy Newberg?
No, it was Tyler.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I found podcasts at that point, and I started listening to those two podcasts at the same time.
I found podcasts because of you. Like, I knew what they were, but I wasn't really interested in them. And you'd been talking about, at the time, you'd been listening to Untalk Radio.
Yeah.
Which is Randy Newberg. And Meat Eater. And you were working for me on my job site. We were building a deck.
It was like 10 years ago then.
Yeah. And you played a Meat Eater podcast.
Okay.
And I still remember hearing that intro for the first time, and it intrigued me. And I still had this kind of that teenager, whatever attitude. I know, sure. I don't need that kind of thing. But it interested me. And then a couple of years later, when I was working, so maybe not 10 years ago, 8. It was you were in between jobs at the time, I think. Yeah,
that would have been like 9 or 10 years ago.
8 or 9 years ago. Yeah, it was before you worked for Richard, but maybe
9
after.
or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 9 then.
So then, like, I think, like, that was my introduction to...
I remember the job you're talking about, but I don't remember that specific incident, but okay.
Anyhow, and so you turned that on, you're listening to that, and I was like, wow, this is kind of interesting. And then at some point, you kept talking about it, and then I was working alone for the company I work for now, but, like, I had just been hired. I think I'd been there like a month, and I was working alone. And I'm like, man, I don't have anybody to talk to. Like, I need something to listen to. And I had started to listen to audiobooks a little bit working on my house. And so I was doing a little bit of that, but I didn't want to pay for them at the time. And then so I think I looked up Meat Eater podcast and started listening to Meat Eater. And at that time I listened to Meat Eater religiously. And then I like the Pod Goats, if anybody knows what the Pod Goats were. I listened to I think every single episode they put out. And then they, for whatever reason, I don't know why they stopped producing episodes. I loved the Pod Goats, but they were just two guys, I think it was a father and a son, talking about a topic for like 30 minutes, and it was great fun.
But for me,
but you got me into podcasts kind of in a roundabout way.
Yeah, it goes in phases for me, right? Like right now, I'm just listening to sheep hunting stuff because that's what I'm into. That's my mindset right now. Not everybody's like that. I know some great sheep hunters that are not podcast listeners at all.
Now, I don't
listen to any podcast.
I can't say I've ever, well, except for like a little Clay Newcomb, I've never listened to a podcast about bear baiting.
Yeah.
And I've maybe watched a video or two about it.
Except, the occasional one that Clay might talk about.
Right. I think I've watched a bear baiting video or two from Clay and one with Yanni.
But see, here's probably why that is. Sheep hunting, at least I feel like there's enough nuance to it. There's enough evolution that happens even from year to year, especially if you're a gearhead. I don't listen to podcasts or, let's say, watch a hunting video about sheep hunting, because that's what we're talking about right now. I don't watch or listen to that type of content just for entertainment. I listen to it because it keeps the thoughts moving in a forward direction. And I have selected things that I'm going to change about what I'm bringing or my mindset about what I'm doing based on the input of a more experienced person on that podcast or that YouTube video.
Sometimes you listen to a guy who did it solo, alone, for the first time, and he killed a sheep, and he says one thing, and you're like, oh, well, that makes sense. That's a good idea. Right. I've never heard that put that way before.
I'm not listening to or watching that content for entertainment value. I'm watching and consuming it because I'm trying to learn something. I'm learning how it's done other ways. That way, if I find myself in that situation, I can draw on that a little bit, and I can think, all right, well, I've seen that happen before to that guy, and this is how he dealt with it.
Well, you may not even register it when you listen to it, but then when you're in the situation, you remember.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to compare this to what I'm about to say, but it's not completely unrelated. But you hear about like professional sports players, they're just consumed with that thing. And all they want to talk about is that thing. all they want to do is hang out with other people that play that game.
Yep.
Right? And they surround themselves with that. They're trying to be the expert in their field. That's kind of how I look at sheep hunting specifically, because this sheep hunting, because of the nature of it, because it can be a very long hunt, it's a very physical hunt, it's a very gear-centric type of hunt, whether or not you are even a gearhead. And this is something that I kind of struggle with. I hear guys on podcasts frequently try to deny being a gearhead. And then the interviewer might ask them, do you know about what your trail weight is on your pack, including a rifle and food, but without water for, let's say, 10 days? If that number is under 65, I think to myself, you are a gearhead. You just don't look at it that way.
Yeah.
They're not a gearhead in that they obsess over all the little things, but they figured it out and they stopped thinking about it.
Yeah, they're not they may not even be looking for new
They
pieces of
don't
gear.
reevaluate their stuff like maybe a gearhead would. And some people will say, well, you'll grow out of that gearhead phase in 10 years. I know guys that are gearheads that have been sheep hunting for 15 or 20 years. It's just a personality thing. It doesn't make you a better or worse sheep hunter if you are a gearhead or not. But even the guys that say, I'm not really that much into gear, but they've got their pack weight dialed and their clothing, their footwear, their shelter, their weapon system, all the above is all dialed. They understand gear.
Yeah.
Whether or not they like
and
it,
like I say, the sheep hunting necessitates
they
that.
understand it because you have to.
I have watched.
If you are going to sheep hunt in cotton pants, cotton hoodie, and a 10.5 or 12.5 pound rifle, and you're going to carry a 7 or 8 pound tent, and you're going to carry a 5 pound sleeping bag, guess what?
You know,
You're going to do a lot more work than you have to, and eventually if you keep sheep hunting, if you keep sheep hunting, you are eventually going to upgrade your gear. It will happen.
Yeah, so I think I'm taking a little different perspective
just
on
real
that.
quickly before we get off this, everybody that likes to say, well, my grandpa used to sheep hunt in blue jeans and a flannel. Guess what? If he had access to all this gear, he'd be doing what we do now.
And if we had access to the sheep he had access to?
Because I've seen a whole lot of old timers that used to hunt and stuff like that, and now they're in their 60s, and guess what they're all wearing? The newest stuff that's the lightest weight because they don't have to carry it around the mountain.
Right.
So don't give me that argument about, well, you can do it with a lot less. You can, but eventually you will grow into better stuff. And that's why the process is so unique to sheep hunting because it's all off of your backpack.
Some sheep hunters, several. Okay, I watched a ton of pack dumps last year.
Sorry, that turned into kind of a rant. I don't know
did a little.
why.
It's a little.
Got a little Alex Jonesy there.
Almost, not quite. We didn't have to turn the music on to kind of like
kids. Magellan is a lot cooler than Justin Bieber.
He circumnavigated the globe.
The ship was rotting down to the waterline.
There was 11 men left. Anyway,
that's what I'm going to play in my earbuds while I'm walking down the riverbed sheep hunting.
Just Alex Jones rant after rant after rant.
Get them.
Like, your kids are retards.
They're turning the frogs gay.
All right. Anyway.
All right. Back to sheep hunting.
We are both very much gearheads.
Yeah.
And there's 50% of sheep hunters are.
Yeah. If not more.
If not more, but
probably a lot more.
50% is a conservative number.
Sure.
But when you say a sheep hunter that's not a gearhead, or we'll just say backcountry hunter,
okay,
because very much so, it's not quite the same as in terrain, but you've got your big backcountry elk hunters and mule deer and whatnot. It's a very similar style of hunt.
Yeah, it's a lot broader of a spectrum in the lower 48. Right. Up here for that type of thing, even a mountain goat hunt, you're not out there for that long normally.
And I think anyhow, but of course we have the craziest terrain with the coldest temperatures for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, there's parts of Canada that,
then they
share
have
the same latitude,
and they have the later season elk hunts and stuff
in the lower 48
get really cold, But anyway, but you kind of combine all the extremes into sheep hunting. Mm-hmm. There are quite a few. I watched a lot of pack dumps last year because one of the mistakes I made last year was I focused only on gear, and I didn't focus on anything else, tactics, anything.
Yeah. Health, fitness.
Yeah, nothing. I was remodeling inside all year last year, And while that was reasonably fit for my fine, I had no real stamina. I hadn't been carrying weight. Like this year, I feel tremendously better. I've been wearing tool bags, been on roofs, doing all the kinds of actions that lead to that being a lot better at that. But I focused only on gear, which was one of the mistakes I made. But I watched all these pack dump videos, and so you have these guys who have their gear dialed, but they're not gearheads. And I say that because they found something that was light that somebody told them about, or they said, I need to make this item lighter weight. What's the lightest weight item that 3 people I know trust? And they bought that.
Right.
And he's carrying what he thinks is the lightest Jetboil because it's the smallest looking one, but it's actually 13 ounces and he doesn't know the stash exists.
Yeah.
But he's carrying it for the same reason I carry the stash, which is that over like a pocket rocket and cup, because it is way more efficient on fuel. Right? So
got a little voice crack going on there?
A little bit, yeah. So he's thinking the same lines, but he's not researching gear. He's not going to Jetboil, to MSR.
I see what you're saying.
Are the latest stoves? And then I've seen, with older guys who maybe even be guides, and they're like pulling 3 sets of earbuds out of the top of their pack, all in these like hard shell cases. Yeah, and these guys, 20-year sheep hunters. Right? And he's going, I carry 3 different earbuds because sometimes I like these ones, and they're all like, everything's in like these hard shell cases and stuff. Like, okay, well, that guy has high quality gear for everything. His pack is down in weight because he's figured out how to do that, but he hasn't done it the way we've done it. We do it by getting online and watching YouTube reviews and listening to podcasts, and you hear about a new piece of gear, you're looking it up. You want to know everything about it. You want to know what it weighs, how does it perform with a tent, wind, all the different things. Those non-gearhead guys, they get something that works, and unless like somebody they know and trust shows them a new piece of gear that's better, they never change. That's the main difference.
So here's one thing I'll say about that. I should clarify. When I say that I'm consuming, like right now, the spirit of the conversation is sheep hunting.
Yep.
When I'm listening to a podcast about sheep hunting and I hear someone talking about gear, let's just say that in this instance, I'll reference a podcast that I listened to not that long ago. This was probably a couple weeks ago. The interviewer is a sheep hunter. The guest was a relatively new sheep hunter, like first or second time going. And the interviewer was asking about gear, what the interviewee was going to take, so on and so forth. When the guest was talking about what they were bringing, I could tell that it was kind of a novice gear list.
Right.
And that kind of gear information doesn't register in my brain as, I should definitely look all this stuff up and figure it out.
You know what I mean.
But when I am listening to, let's say that interviewer is doing a solo podcast and he's talking about what he's bringing sheep hunting, that I'm paying attention to.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
right?
Unless
so I'm not just going on YouTube. Personally, I'm not a very big, what's in my pack type of person for consumption. I'm not looking up those videos. I see a few pop up.
Too many this year.
I've watched one
from
somebody that I actually trust the reputation of.
I think I was gonna watch. I'm still planning on watching that one.
Mm-hmm. And there's some stuff in there that you're going to shake your head about.
Everybody,
for
people
sure.
are shaking their head, but I'm going to do my pack dump. People are going to say, well, I ain't carrying that,
Yeah.
But what I mean by, I watched a bunch of pack dumps last year. Like I said, I obsessed on gear. I was also learning a ton about the sheep hunting gear because I didn't have the background of years that you have at this point.
Yeah.
And so I was just like,
which is
inundating myself with gear, which was a good thing to do. Yeah. But what I mean is, you hear somebody mention a new piece of gear coming. Just like now, you mentioned that new First Light Rain gear. I'm like,
right.
Yeah. It sounds like something I need.
Yeah, you did the same thing I did.
And I pretty regularly I'll think of a brand. the one everybody loves to hate right now, Kuyu. Okay, I'll just be like, haven't been on their website in a while. Let's go check out their new arrivals page. Do you do that?
Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah, you just go. Yeah. You'll go to a website and go to their homepage and be like, "What's new? What's the new thing?" Like, "Oh, sweet." Like, is that how you discovered the first light gear? No, was it mentioned on a podcast? Oh, okay.
Don't say that on the podcast.
I won't say anything. I won't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a hot tip.
Occasionally.
So I knew it was coming out.
Yeah. Anyhow.
To which my response
correct.
was, really? On July 28th?
Yeah.
Dude, sheep season starts in like a week.
They're not thinking about sheep season.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway. So
you're killing me, Smalls.
You kind of get where I'm going.
I'll have it next year. I'll tell you that much right now.
I probably will.
I'll have it next year.
And it's less than the Omen by significantly. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good price too.
Competitively priced.
I like the colors.
Green top and Terra bottoms.
You think?
That's what I'm going to buy.
Yeah. I'll make sure to get the same ones so we match just like our Omen.
Yeah, just
gear.
like the Omen.
Yeah. We both did that. We were like, "Oh, I'm going to buy these ones because he's probably going to buy those ones." And then
now we have the same color rain gear.
Yeah. Anyway,
but I think it's smart if you are new into the sheep hunting game, which I don't really know who this podcast is going to find. This could just be our normal listenership, or it could reach different people. Obviously, our normal listeners and subscribers and or followers
or the people
are going to see this.
Like us searching Dall Sheep on Spotify to find every podcast talking about Dall Sheep they can.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you are a new sheep hunter and you're watching this video, maybe you're going on your first sheep hunt soon or maybe next season, whatever, or you have a down payment, and you're going on a guided hunt, my pack dump here is a poor representation of what I actually could be carrying. I have too much weight in my puffy jacket. That is too heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's very indicative of what most, especially residents, we get this. You watch celebrity hunters for sake of a better word.
Okay.
Brady Miller, Brian Call. You watch these guys do a pack dump, and the one that we watch, right? You watch these guys do a pack dump, and those guys have the luxury of having used and tested 10 items. For every item in their pack, they've tested 10 alternatives, right? And so they have this dialed setup, which comes with sponsors and availability of funds. Your pack is very indicative of, and mine is too, of somebody who is every year upgrading a couple of things. One thing here, all right, well, this thing, your puffy gear would be better if you had.
See, but here's the thing. I own other puffy gear that technically I should be bringing. I should not be carrying that Barney's puffy jacket. I shouldn't be. I have one.
But that's a survival item in this case.
I have one.
Because it's not just you.
Two. I have 3 other puffy coats that probably 90% of sheep hunters would say, yeah, I'll carry that over that Barney's jacket.
Probably me too, yeah.
But I know what that Barney's jacket does for me. I've had it in situations where I've been soaking wet and extremely cold and it's blowing wind and I want to get warm right now. And I want that performance. And so I'm willing to carry that penalty because I have had other puffy gear in the past of different insulation fill materials that has really let me down in a horrible way on a sheep hunt that I just hated, and I swore I would never go back from the Barney's puffy coat after that. Now, there is another piece of insulation on the market that's about to come out that I want to try, but for right now, this is what I've got. I know this, I trust this, and for the weight penalty, I'm bringing a lighter mid-layer insulation. I mean, that down vest is a half a pound compared to the Ambient 200, which is, I believe it's well over a pound.
It's just
when I weighed it.
I think I weighed mine, it was 1.1.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
So I'm sacrificing one thing to make up for having another. My rain gear, I know I could have lighter rain gear, but like I said, every other, and I have tried two, if not 3 different sets of much lighter weight packable, breathable rain gear for this type of application. One of them was sheep hunting, and I got drenched.
Have you used the Sitka Dew Point?
No.
Have you seen the new one, the Dew Point Pro that just came out?
Yeah, that's basically the that's to replace the Sitka. Is it called the Storm Shelter rain gear?
I don't know.
It was the old.
Yeah, it's obviously
it's a 75 denier face fabric. It's very thick. It's very heavy.
Until I heard about the new First Light, I was
so right now the Sitka rain gear for the hunting department is the Dew Point Ultralight, the Dew Point, and the Dew Point Pro. The Dew Point Pro is the super heavy stuff, like what was the Sitka Stormfront before.
Okay.
So it's not lightweight.
No. Okay.
It's
not
very rigid, very heavy stuff.
It's not low budget either.
No, it ain't. No.
And nothing new from Sitka is low budget.
Nothing new from almost anybody is low budget.
I mean,
welcome to the economy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that First Light stuff, though, significantly.
But not if you compare it to, let's say, the Kuiu Chugach and the Stone Glacier M5.
Similar?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Kuiu Katana as well. That's all kind of the same weight class performance category.
And to trust the First Light better for that?
Well, like I said, I have had other stuff, and I'm not going to say which brands they were necessarily, but I just named them.
I mean, I would.
So,
I mean, to me, we're talking about specific pieces of gear. Like, there's no reason not to say what you had that failed.
Yeah, the Kuiu Katana rain gear blew out, soaked through, horrible, and then took like 2 days to dry in the field. I was so upset. I about wanted to throw it in the river when I got off the mountain. I was hopping mad. I had not had the Yukon do that. Luckily, I had that back at base camp as a spare. And I grabbed it. And for the next...
You've been a pretty big fan of the Yukon.
Yeah. So the Yukon was the first set of relatively heavyweight. And this is my second set. I bought this, I got this new set a few years ago when they came out with the updated version. My old set was kind of starting to wear out. But I've never been wet in the Yukon gear. It's a little heavier, a little stouter. But, I've worn it brown bear hunting on the coast in serious wind, running a boat. Never been wet. I've used the Stone Glacier M5. Got soaked on a sheep hunt. My sheep hunt.
That wasn't even a long sheep hunt.
No. Not relatively speaking.
Yeah.
It was like 4 or 5 days. But the whole pack out, it poured, and I got drenched. Made me upset. Low consequence in that particular scenario, because I was done. I was on the way out. And then there's another set from another category of one of the same companies that also let me down. So
I won't have a lot of Stone Glacier gear with me this year, but I'm taking the sheep hunt.
Yeah. I got a new hat.
I saw you. Yeah, I was there when you bought that.
Yeah. It looks sharp.
Yeah, it is.
I like a black hat every once in a while because then it shows the sweat lines. My wife thinks it's ridiculous, but I'm a big ball cap guy.
Yeah. Well, I've worn this several times sheep hunting now.
Yeah.
It's got some miles underneath it, and it's gonna get some more.
Yep.
I'm gonna have a picture with the dead sheep with this hat.
Yep. But I could lose some weight with my shelter.
Yep.
A lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight.
I could lose weight with a lighter tripod, lighter spotting scope, lighter rain gear, and a lighter puffy jacket.
You could lose almost 8 to 10 pounds probably right there.
Oh, easily. So I say that to say, don't look at what I'm bringing and say, well, that's the perfect pack system.
Just use it. But
that's what I'm choosing based on what I've done and my experience, and it's probably going to change a little bit next year. I'm sure it will, actually.
Yeah, there's a high probability that if you're watching this episode for the purpose of the fact that it says Dall Sheep, it's about sheep hunting in that pack dump, you're watching other pack dumps. And do that because you're going to see...
Yeah, exactly.
Because the whole reason of watching a pack dump is to learn about that one new piece of gear you didn't know existed, or that somebody's using and mentioned they use it in a way that you didn't know was a thing. And
I can't tell you how many times I've had other people, whether it's clients or hunting buddies, that have never heard of a Gore-Tex mitten before. Just a shell mitt.
Yeah.
That you just put a liner glove in.
I know First Light makes one.
And you can
separate Gore-Tex.
You can separate them, and then you can dry your stuff out.
Yeah.
Wearing a single piece glove, like the fleece lined traditional glove, like those Sitka ones that I'm not going to bring, if that thing gets wet, it's wet until it's hot and sunny out, and you can dry it in the wind.
Yeah. I have a synthetic bag. I can dry them in my bag.
Sure, but how fast? Have you done it before?
Yeah, overnight.
Overnight, they dry out all the way.
Yeah.
Which gloves?
The
Jetstreams?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I haven't tried that with those gloves, but they have a leather palm, and I found with stuff that stuff with leather palms.
The Jetstreams have leather, but it's that leather with the holes in it.
Yeah.
So
not quite the same.
Yeah. No, the Jetstreams are the upgraded version of that, significantly upgraded version of that. Yeah.
Those ones, I'm not super confident they would dry out much.
And that's where with that synthetic bag, man, it's just like
I dry stuff out in my down bag.
Yeah, you've talked about that.
Is what it is. Yeah. So I don't know. So I guess for folks, again, I'll reiterate what I'm saying that I'm bringing right now, and a lot of this, and you alluded to this earlier, knowing what you're getting yourself into dictates more of that on my end. And that comes with some experience, and you kind of learn, all right, I'm going this far. I know what it's like to carry this much weight that far-ish. Right? Obviously, things could change, but I know where we're going. I know about how many miles we're going to put on if things go well, and I know about how many miles we're going to put on if things go badly. And I'm okay with carrying 46, 47-ish pounds pre-food, because with food for approximately 12 days, I'm going to be somewhere in the 15 to 17 pound range for my food supply and getting lighter every day. Right? So that's going to land me in the, let's see, I said 46, 47. So we're looking at just over 60 pounds, 63, 65-ish pounds with food for almost 2 weeks. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. My goal is to be under 60.
Yeah. And I'll be just a hair over. Yeah. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I know I know what I'm getting into.
You know the terrain you're going in.
Yeah.
You know the path you're planning on taking. You know who you're hunting with.
Yeah.
Which has dictated that some of the gear you are or aren't bringing. Yeah.
Yep. And in the past, I have brought an extra piece of clothing as a survival item for a client to use on a sheep hunt.
And in some ways, that's what your big puffy is for.
To an extent, but it's for me this time because I'm bringing such little insulation otherwise. I'm not bringing another mid-layer.
But if you make it across the river and he falls in, then you're going to be pulling that thing out and putting it on him.
Exactly. Because you know what kind of insulation he's bringing? A down jacket.
Yeah.
So he'll climb in mine to survive and to warm up and to run up and down the gravel bar. Which is nice. Yeah. And even the last sheep hunt that you and I were on with the client, he put on my Barney's jacket because his down jacket wasn't cutting it.
And he had too many wool layers,
And we all got wet. I was wearing synthetic mostly. You were wearing mostly synthetic. You and I put on an ambient. We were fine. He put on his Stone Glacier down jacket and froze. And his jacket got wet. And I said, here, put that on.
Yeah, he was shivering.
Yeah, he's cold. And in that kind of situation, especially as a guide, and I know there are guides out there that would balk at that statement and say, well, that's their responsibility to bring their own stuff. Tell them to climb on their sleeping bag. Yeah, or you could just be a nice person and say, here, look what I carried for you for the last 2 weeks. Use it. Yeah. I don't personally think I don't think that's out of the realm of responsibilities.
No, I agree with that.
So, and for an extra pound or 1.5 pounds in that case, I was having a conversation with somebody who is pretty frugal when it comes to some things, but willing to spend the money on the basic stuff to get lightweight sheep hunting gear. But when it comes to nitpicking, like he would look at this pack dump and say, man, that's great. You got everything dialed in. That's great, right? He had the statement because I mentioned that I was bringing something, but that I wanted a lighter version of it, and I forget what the item even was. But I said, yeah, and I could get this other thing, and it would save me like 8 ounces, but it's like $400 to buy this other thing. And I forget what it was, but it was a few $100s to buy it. And he said, man, I'll carry 8 ounces a long ways for $400. And I thought about that, and I even mentioned it to my wife the other day. I said, to get a sheep hunting pack together, pre-food weight, right? Some guys will call that like trail weight, right? Before your food, without water, but all your gear and your rifle. To get that system around the 50-pound range, like close to plus or minus 2 or 3 pounds from 50, you're usually in, I would say, at least $5,000.
Yeah, at least.
And you could be closer to $10,000 depending on how much your rifle, your spotter, your rifle scope, your tent. I mean, you start putting price tags on all the stuff.
$1,000 tent in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And $1,500 pair of binos and a $3,000.
More than that.
Is it more than that?
Mm-hmm.
I have
those binos are like $2,700.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I didn't pay that for those.
Right. Well,
but the replacement value.
Well, neither one of us have paid the actual new price for most of our gear.
Some of it.
So, sure. Some of it, but not all of it.
But there are, Yeah,
my binos are what, $1,200 binos? I didn't pay that for them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of the clothing stuff is full price type stuff. But, like you said, $1,000 for the tent, tarp, a couple $100 for that light of a tarp.
Basically $1,000 set of rain gear.
That tripod is $300 brand new. That tripod head is
200,
200, yeah,
220,
225, something like that. Spotting scope, yikes.
Yeah,
that's pushing $3,000 for the spotting scope.
Yeah, I think you're probably closer to $15,000 in your pack, man.
But okay, all that being said, right, and then you have the pack, which is around $700 for any given pack in the industry.
I think that pack where you're set up is closer to $1,000. Yeah, at least 8-9.
Okay, you put all that together to get a sheep hunting pack with high-end brand type stuff. You're in somewhere around $10,000 usually. But to get it from that 50-pound range to the 40-pound range, it's like another $5,000. Yeah. Or can be. Yeah. Just for that extra, so I paid that much for 50 pounds. Now to shave off 10, I got to spend sometimes 30 or 50% more to shave off just a little bit of that. So is it worth it to everybody? No. Not everybody is going to go on that type of sheep hunt. And knowing what you're getting yourself into.
If you're coming up here once on a guided hunt.
Yeah, you do not need to buy a spotting scope. You don't need to have a heavy tripod. You can bring a light tripod to use your binos on. Your guide will probably have a tent
for you to use.
Yeah, exactly.
Your guide will have your food,
Right. And if that were me, if we said this a couple weeks ago, but I said if I was king of the world, right, and I could pick somewhere to go on a guided sheep hunt at no cost, okay, and I was going to go as a client, I would be perfectly fine carrying my Barney's jacket. I'd be perfectly fine carrying my Hilleberg Solo.
In a book.
Because I'm not carrying my tripod and I'm not carrying my spotting scope.
Carry a book in a chair.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't have to carry my own water, none of that.
That's not true.
Yeah, but you get what I mean. Yeah. I could shave off several pounds of that. I wouldn't be bringing extra ammo. I'd be bringing 13 rounds. I'm bringing 20 because, I actually might be hunting and I'm shooting a smaller round, and it's not that heavy to bring 20 rounds.
See, every time you say it's not that heavy, it's only a few ounces, man. It adds up quick.
Yeah, but to me,
and
I'm bringing 20.
And I'm in my pack many thousands.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And less in some areas than you are. I have a Vortex spotting scope.
Which, I'm not going to lie to you.
It's sweet. And
it'd be nice to carry that one instead of mine.
At some point, I would
Except when it comes to the clarity.
At some point, I would love to get the same size Swaro. But it's 3 times the price.
I looked through one of those this spring.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I compared it to mine at Last Light. There is a distinguishable difference.
Between yours and it, sure.
In light gathering. And I was listening to a different podcast with someone who is well-versed in sheep hunting, been a long-time sheep hunter, very experienced guy. And he carries an 82 mil Leica spotter everywhere. Loves it.
Yeah.
And he made a lot of these same points realistically. I mean, he was saying a lot of the same things in that I'm okay with carrying lighter in other departments so I can carry a bit more glass.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
And he was even talking about tripods too, where he said, look, if my tripod is 2 pounds, but that's the lightest one that I've tried that can actually stabilize and hold down that kind of glass, then I'm okay with carrying
2 pounds is about as light as you can get. So for tripod system, including head.
How much does the
I don't
other
remember
Tricer one weigh?
The Tricer ones aren't the lightest on the market.
What about the Asiac one?
The Asiac tripod that I have, which is that
The
one?
Backcountry Light or something like that?
I think the Backcountry Light's the one with the center post. The Ridgeline.
Okay.
With just the ball head, I believe it's 20 ounces flat.
Really?
So you add my 5-ounce head, I'm about 25 ounces. So it's still well under 2 pounds.
So 25 ounces, and I'm at...
I'm a little over a pound and a half, or right at a pound and a half, I think.
And I'm at 2 pounds, 5 ounces. So we're talking about saving a pound.
Yeah. Now, a pound. Now, to me, right, because you another $300 and you're a pound lighter.
Yeah.
To me, that's so worth the $300.
Yeah.
Because now you saved that pound.
Right.
Right. And then if you've done the rain gear, well, that's $600-700 for that rain gear.
Mm-hmm.
And you've saved another pound and a half. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a lot of money, but man, you'd carry 8 ounces a long way for $400. But if every time you spent $400, you went down 8 ounces, how many times would you spend $400?
Depends on the person.
It depends on the person, but
and and here's the other thing too.
Because you can go faster, you can go lighter.
Right.
Right. And then if you can spend that much money to then buy the bigger, more expensive spotting, so spend even more money, and then have the same weight you had,
but much better glass.
Better glass or better whatever, yeah. Or to justify the tent better because you love that tent.
I do like that tent.
Anyhow, something in my throat there, but anyhow, I
understand what you're saying.
I was looking at the Peaks Solitude 1, 2 weeks ago when I bought it, and it was Friday night, and I'm laying in bed on my phone looking at this thing, switching between Dyneema and Sil Nylon.
And your wife says, "Turn your brightness down."
No, no, I was like, I'm thinking about buying another tent. I said.
Just take a drink.
It's probably a good idea.
Get that frog out of there.
I know I said I wasn't going to buy any more gear this year, but
yeah,
I can save so much weight because the tent I was going to carry, which I was going to go to the original spot, I think I would want to carry still or be okay with, but it's 6 pounds. And this tent, which if I'm going to spend the money, I may as well buy the Dyneema. Mm-hmm. That's what I said. She goes, but she doesn't think that way. Mm-hmm. She's a lot more the figuring out how to work on a budget. And I'm more like, if the money,
which you said, what do you think you are, Dave Ramsey?
Well, she's used to a grocery budget and stuff like that. And anyhow, so I'm looking at this going, man, I could buy the Dyneema one. If I'm going to buy it and it's worth buying, then it's worth buying the Dyneema one. Because it's lighter, it's stronger. Both very good aspects of it. And then, and she made a comment about but if the other one will work fine, then why not just buy that one? It's only 4 ounces. That's the difference in weight. It's not a lot, obviously. So I bought the Sil Nylon one. The difference. So I bought the Sil Nylon tent, floor, and poles for like $460 or something. And shout out to Brian, use his code Gritty, save me 10%. And then I want to
that Hunting or Gearful has had a 20% off all Peak stuff.
They did not have. They did not have that when I bought that tent.
Bummer.
Yeah, it started shortly after. Yeah, and Gearful's shipping is significantly more to Alaska.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I've looked at their stuff several times, and
I've never actually been on their website.
I actually went to their website.
I just saw an ad come up, and I saw that. And
I went to their website and looked at it on their website before I ordered it on Peaks.
Gotcha. I've not been on their website.
Anyhow, so I decided to order it in Sil Nylon because it was,
sure,
$300 cheaper.
Yeah.
And I kind of like, I'll have the floor, I'll have the poles.
Mm-hmm.
If I decide I want the Dyneema one,
all you have to buy is the tent.
All I got to buy is the tent, and with the discount code, I'm right at $600.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I'll be able to justify that $600 because I know the tent I have. In this case, while I obviously think I'll be able to trust it, I'm not willing to put forth the capital because I'm not 100% certain that this is going to work out.
I think
great.
It's mighty bold of you to bring a brand new tent that there really isn't that much info out there about it.
It's the style.
We can park on that one right there and have that different of a
and
difference
that's something
of
that's
opinion
different about
thing.
us too.
Right. I don't like trying brand new stuff on a sheep hunt.
Yeah.
I detest that.
I took my first solo sheep hunt. I had 5 days, hiked in, hunted for 3, hiked out, right? It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a tent.
Right.
Couldn't really borrow a tent.
Mm-hmm.
I did borrow a sleeping bag. I borrowed a lot of gear. I made do with what I had. I was like 80 pounds, okay? And I didn't have a tent. For a 5-day hunt, okay? But that's because I had the gear I had, and I was not going to not after going and being on a guided hunt, and like, man, I loved it. I was like, where can I go? And I found a spot, and if I got back to work, it's like, I know I was just gone for like 3 weeks, but I want more time off work, and was able to finagle that in, and my boss gave me that off. I ended up like working overnight at his cabin for like 3 days to get that time off. And anyhow, did that. So what I did is I had that Alps tarp, a sill nylon tarp that weighs almost 2 pounds. Okay. It's big. It's 10 by 10, 10 by 11. And I had figured out with my trekking poles how to pitch it. And to pitch it so it was shaped like a tent. And to lay down diagonal to where I wasn't touching the ends. And I could crawl in I figured all that in my order. I could crawl in the end and reach in and pull the thing around and put one stake on the inside that would tie it shut and keep the wind and everything out. And it was barely big enough, but I had me and all my gear in there, and I did that. And of course, when the weather's great, you could sleep under anything, right?
In a heavy sack if you wanted to.
Right. When the weather's great, it doesn't matter. And the weather was pretty good going in, but I got in, and the second day it was just socked in, nasty. And I tried to start hiking another direction where I saw rams. Didn't have time, I made it halfway and was just like, well, it's halfway through the day and I have to be back at work in 2 days. So there's no way. I just had to hike out. And, but on that hike out, wind turned absolutely nasty. I got 6 inches of snow while sleeping under that tarp. And I had no upper guy lines. The entire strength of that sill nylon $80 tarp there's no patches for it for trekking poles either. It was just stretched over the handles of my trekking poles. And I think in the side, I had stuck my tripod up in the side to help on that one windward side.
Sure.
But I woke up, I had that much ice on the side of the tent, snow, everything, 0 problems. And so I say all that to say, there is a tremendous amount of strength. They say the strongest shape is a triangle. There's a ton of strength in that structure. I had 0 upper guy lines. All my strength was coming from the bottom in the fabric going over those trekking poles. I look at the Solitude 1 as it has to be a stronger version of that tent.
Okay.
Because of the way that it is designed.
Okay. I see your justification. Mm-hmm. I understand that, and I raised you a situation because you thought, well, that tarp did so good. And then you went out last year and bought an actual 3-season rated Big Agnes Copper Spur 3, which we have seen and heard of other guides using as well.
Yeah. Which is an ultra lightweight the one I bought is an ultra lightweight freestanding tent.
So you assumed that, well, if my tarp did fine, then this tent will surely.
That's not what I assumed. I talked to one person about that who said, oh, that'll do fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. You still kind of went out on a limb.
I went out on a limb. I had doubts about it beforehand, but I justified it because of the weight.
Okay. I look at that and say, see, in the words of George Bush, fool me once.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I look at that kind of situation with the tent failure that you had last year, and I think, all right, that wasn't the worst that the winds could have been. And your tent didn't hold up to it, which really impacted your hunt a lot. I know there were other factors to it, but that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back on that trip. If that was me, I would be turning right back around and saying, all right, no more untested gear on sheep hunts. If I'm taking in a new shelter, I'm going to camp with it all summer, and at least once or twice, I'm going to take it out in the mountains in July, even if it's just over one night, and I'm going to go pick a windy spot on some hiking trail, and I'm going to go camp up way above the brush where I'm going to get some real wind, and I'm going to test this thing out. That's how I look at it. It's a personal difference of opinion.
That's something very different about you and I, is how you feel about something. Until you personally test it, you don't. I
don't trust it.
I know there's a technical aspect to to just the way I think about everything.
Yeah.
And to where I will study something out and trust it based upon the parameters.
Yeah. And I understand that.
And when I do that properly, I'm right. When I do it kind of winging it, thinking I know what I'm doing, I fail. And
I hope you're right
I've
about
justified this tent. I wanted it because of the weight, but that's not what justified it for me.
See,
that justified the money.
Here's the other thing.
I justified carrying the tent, using that tent, and I will have a drop bag that I'll leave at my drop-off spot. That will have another tent. It's going to have backup. I'm going to have more food in it. It's going to be because of where I'm going to be going. I'll be able to potentially come back to that spot, restock on food. If I've had a failure, if I need to charge up my batteries, I'll have a solar panel. I'll have more batteries. Right. I'll have I'll have a dry bag stashed where I can just come back and take a load off if I need to,
I'm going to have my chair in there.
That's not a bad idea. I hadn't thought about that one yet, but this dry bag is going to be packed. Anyhow, so I have that contingency too, to where I can get out and change up if I need to.
Yeah.
But the trust factor, like I said, it is made of the same material. A higher quality version of the same material, you would argue. It is made by some people have a problem with peaks.
Sure.
But most of the people that have a problem with peaks, it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing. It has to do with Ryan Lampers more than anything, or they don't like Brian for some reason.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the actual quality of their gear. Of course, they're going to say it does, because today everything's hyper-stimulated. If you don't like somebody, you don't like their stuff, and it's all garbage. You can't, obviously that's never actually true.
Yeah. Everything
at this point that I've seen Peaks make is of the highest quality for what they've done. They think through everything. They come up with innovative solutions that are new to the industry, and they're not gimmicky.
Okay, even if they're not new to the industry, because you could make the argument that some of the stuff is not. Okay, even if it's not new to the industry.
I'm talking about like trekking poles in your teepee.
Yes, but trekking poles have been made before.
No, I mean, I'm talking about putting trekking poles in the top of your tent.
Yeah.
I'm talking about little tiny things like that in a tent show how much they're thinking this thing out.
Agreed.
And they're putting that effort into it.
However, I look at it, and we'll scoot back to what we were talking about earlier about consuming information about other stories from more experienced guys. I have both known and listened to enough other sheep hunters that are a lot more experienced than you or I that have used an ultralight type of non-freestanding shelter along the same lines as what you're talking about using with that Peak Solitude 1. I'm not saying that it's not a good tent. I'm not saying that it won't work. There are other options on the market, even if they're not made by, let's just say, hunting brand companies that are similar in that they are a single wall, non-freestanding, guy out, mandatory shelter that are even lighter than the Solitude 1, and made by companies that have been doing that type of shelter for a very, very long time. And I know sheep hunters that have used those shelters, and they work to an extent. But when the wind hits X miles an hour, they don't work so good anymore.
There's also sheep hunters that's all they've ever used. Or guides that's all they've ever used.
Or they have a spot where they camp, And they say, well, yeah, the shelter worked great up until I had to camp in this type of spot, and I had a big storm move in, and I had water running through the floor of my tent in the morning, and all my stuff was soaking wet. Whereas if I would have been in my XYZ bathtub, freestanding, normal, conventional, let's just say, type of sheep hunting tent, yes, it's heavier, but it would have done a lot better in this given situation.
I'm not denying the fact that I will be making obvious sacrifices with a single wall.
Right.
Obviously, there's a risk of water
that just causes further
through.
hesitations for me to try a brand new style of shelter on a hunt with that kind of consequence.
One of the decisions I made with taking this tent was the fact that basically I am willing to accept obviously higher condensation.
Oh yeah.
More moisture in the tent is going to be something I have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I can deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to have to potentially deal with a wet floor, and obviously pitching in a bad spot or only having one spot to pitch it could be water running through. It would suck, but willing to deal with it. Right? That's not a hunt ending problem. Obviously, the tent collapsing is.
Sure.
Right? But it's not a hunt ending problem for me because I should be able to go get another tent. Right? And this, where I was last year, I was almost 20 miles from, if I had a drop bag, which I didn't, it's not even worth it when you're 20 miles in.
Yeah.
I would have had to hike 20 miles, which, if I had, then maybe I would have come back, got it, and gone back in. I don't know. I was very discouraged.
But
I wasn't physically
40-mile round trip just to get a new tent.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of sheep hunters that would do that.
A 10-mile round trip is much simpler.
Oh, yeah.
A 5-mile round trip is even
a 15-mile round trip. Or a 20-mile round trip.
Yeah, there's a big difference in that. And so that's where I'm and justifying willing to take those risks because of the weight, not justifying it because of the weight. Like thinking, I have as the way I've described this is the way I had been thinking about this tent for months.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not arguing with you about that. I got off on that simply to expose some differences.
Yeah,
because although we have a lot of similarities in some things, you and I think very differently on others.
Yeah, and I'm cutting 4+ pounds, which is a tremendous amount of weight when I'm planning on carrying camp on my back pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And so then if I have to switch it up for that heavier tent, it may get to a point where I just say, all right, well, I am going to have to do a little more base camp style here because I just got too much weight to climb another ridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
to me, the gear that I have upgraded over the years of sheep hunting, which, by the way, I'm no long-time grizzled expert, and I don't want anybody to think that.
This is my 3rd year sheep hunting.
Yeah, this is...
I've been paying my dues in that experience, although much of it gained by ignorance and idiocy. And some gained just by being in the wrong place at the wrong time has led me to this point of trying to think through and getting to a point. I didn't really listen to podcasts about sheep hunting before. Yeah. I was so hyper-focused on gear last year. And the year before that, I was just coming along as a packer, right?
Yeah, the gear that I have upgraded since I started has been strategic little things that have added up into other, more consequential things. I think back when I started, this is the first time I've ever been sheep hunting without my Barney's pack. I've just always carried my Barney's pack. When I started sheep hunting, that was the best pack I had. And then guiding sheep hunts, it's just expected that you've got a Barney's pack. And in thinking of, all right, if I've got to carry my food, client's food potentially, if he can't hack it,
your water,
my water, his water, and a sheep, I need to be able to carry, even if it's just a short stretch, I need to be able to carry 150 plus pounds, which I've had to do before. And it is not a fun ordeal at all. But, man, it's just kind of expected that you might have to do that. And, so tripod head, a lot of these things that I've cut weight on now And, I mentioned I kind of felt an obligation to bring an extra little piece of clothing so that I could wear a lightweight mid layer and the client could use my survival synthetic puffy jacket. So I know it, I trust it. I know a lot of other guides that have used that jacket, and that's what got me to buy it early on. And then I've always just carried it because the first couple of times that I went sheep hunting, I had down puffy gear. And it didn't work out like I wanted it to. If that stuff gets wet, you could end up with effectively no insulation at all. And so I'm willing to carry a heavier synthetic jacket because I've got a 2-pound down bag. I could go lighter, but I don't really see the need to. And again, I have it. A lot of the stuff that I had for sheep hunting from the beginning, I just ran with it because, hey, I have it. And I wanted to spend money on other things. Yeah. So I didn't focus on how can I get my sheep pack lighter. I just didn't think about that for the first few years. Then it was gradually, all right, this piece, that piece, and then little by little. Now, I'm not carrying my Barney's pack sheep hunting, and I don't know that I ever will again, honestly. I don't really see the need to.
I don't either.
And in reality, there are a lot of advantages to carrying a slimmer, lighter overall pack that can still carry heavy weight.
It's so much better designed lid.
And I've got a meat shelf.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Barney's pack, everything's got to go in that bag.
Yeah.
That's kind of a pain, or can be. So when I look at it from that perspective, I look at where I came from, look at where I'm at now, and I've made a lot of improvements. There are other things that I've already mentioned before. I'm not going to go over it again, but I'm going to upgrade more things as I keep on sheep hunting.
Well, as an example, I'm fairly certain that if this tent works out really well for me this year, you'll be buying one.
I want to know how fast the winds are, though.
Sure, but
if you get sustained 50, 60 mile an hour winds and that tent holds up to it and you take a video of it and it's holding up great, yeah, I'll buy one.
Yeah, well, that'd
be great. I'm not going to take it on every sheep hunt, depending on the area, because that's just I don't want to have one if I could have water running through the stupid thing.
Storm Star is almost an equivalent to a Hilleberg Solo, not in size and footprint, but in design. It's not made with the same weight and thickness of fabrics.
You have the Storm Star or the Mountain Star?
Storm Star.
Okay,
it is the same pole design.
Yeah, that's the that's the 4-season.
It's a 4-season 2-person tent. Yeah, and it weighs just a little bit more than the Solo, so the fabrics aren't quite as heavy. That's essentially the only difference. It sets up the same way. It's got the same guy line set up, high and low. Almost everything about it's the same. But I would love to use that tent on a sheep hunt if I was coming back to the camp in the same place almost every night.
Yeah.
Because it's a 2-person, especially if I'm going by myself.
I was camping in a valley bottom in the Brooks Range, and I got to come back to the same camp spot most nights, and I could pick right up my tent. I'd probably take my Peaks 4-man teepee.
Potentially, yeah.
If it was me and a buddy, yeah, I'd take the 4-person teepee.
Yeah.
The thing is huge.
And with a stove even, especially with a buddy.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a real big fan of the stove for a sheep hunt. There's just hardly anything to burn in most of the places.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, at that point, just carry some wood. Carry a Duraflame log.
Yeah, no thanks.
But so the other back to the sil nylon versus Dyneema thing.
Yeah,
I went with the sil nylon, going all right. Shouldn't be a problem with that. Obviously, it's worth. If
I don't think the tent fabric difference is going to make or break the shelter.
I'm going to test the tent and try this thing out.
It's the design.
I can trust the sil nylon. I'm trusting the tent as it is, not the material. If I love it, then sure, I'll probably buy the Dyneema. Because at that point, I'll have 2 tents. Because I bought this one with the poles in the floor. I could literally run that Dyneema with my trekking poles and go completely floorless. And I'll have a 16-ounce. I think that Dyneema tent, just the shelter, weighs 16 ounces. Yeah. Right? You talk about just being insanely light.
Sure.
With a ton of space and super well designed, all those things. Like, it seems awesome. I haven't seen a lot of guys using it. I think a lot of guys really like their Solitude 4s.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason.
I like mine.
You don't have a ton of guys.
I haven't carried it sheep hunting.
You don't have a ton of guys producing content who hunt solo a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're, so a lot of the guys who already buy from Peaks, or the hunts they're going on where they're producing a video, their cameraman's in a tent with them. I think that's why you're not seeing as much about it.
Sure.
I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, guys have used it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
See how it goes.
If in a month from now a video drops and it's
Mo is on his back with his
picture.
legs in the air holding his tent up again.
and it's a picture of a collapsed, torn in two tent. Well,
or 2 trekking poles standing up with guy lines off of them, and your tent fabric is flat on the ground. Little deja vu action going on there. Or instead of a successful text on August 10th of an opening day ram, you're going to text me, tent's flat, walking back to the strip.
I'm not going to tell you till after the hunt's over, man. Especially after this conversation. My pride will be hurt. No, I'm going in under, like I said, I think with the situation I'm in,
yeah,
I'd be a lot more hesitant to carry it in where I went in last year, or even to take it where you're going.
I would never take it where I'm going.
I don't think where
not a
I'm
chance.
Going, it's going to be
not a chance.
I have a lot more opportunity to round it, go into another basin and get out of the wind. Right where I'm going, like there's a lot of situation where I'm going to,
Yeah, where I'm going, I know of a couple people that have blown up Hilleberg tents in that area.
You know my old canvas tents?
Yeah.
I used to take family camping in, where I had, it's like 3 different tents and you can tie them all together and make one big one.
Mm-hmm.
So my little 2-3 man ones that sit up real tall, I have taken that into that area, set it up on a mount up high.
I know where you're talking about.
And we had 80-mile-an-hour winds. And that tent took it. Now, the tent was down close, but because of the way the bars spring and everything on it, it did not, you could not tell. When I got up in the morning, I moved it because I didn't like waking up to my tent being in my face. But, dude, it was insane. Now, of course, that tent is like, half the size of my pack and weighs 20 pounds.
If it's going to blow that hard and we're up high, I'm getting off the ridgetop.
Yeah,
because I'm going to be frequenting the in-reach forecast.
I was in a valley. I was up on a mountain in a valley. I was able to get more out of the wind. But
if that's going to happen, I'm getting off the ridgetop. No questions asked. I'm not doing that on top and having a tent blow up. Because even that Hilleberg Solo, as good of a tent as it is in the wind, even when you pitch it toe into the wind like you need to, it's, 70, 80 mile an hour winds sustained. Why push it?
Oh, no, yeah.
Just get off the ridgetop. Try to find some type of shelter.
There is.
Which the area that I'm going to be in, I will be within 1.5 miles or 2 miles of trees. So I'm getting in the trees.
There's a tent company. I was looking at their tents for a while. And they make serious mountaineering stuff, including like
Durston, was it?
No, Durston's more like Durston's a backpacking company. This is like serious mountaineering, climbing.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Slingfin.
Yes.
They make
yes
a 4-season serious tent that, in the research I was doing, is stronger than a Hilleberg. Has been tested in like 100-mile-an-hour plus stuff.
Yeah,
and it weighs actually less than the Hilleberg, if I remember right. It's just the design of the way the webbing attaches to the poles and all these things.
It's a 1 or a 2 man?
Yeah, I think it may have been a 2 man.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was like 4 pounds.
Slingfin makes the Stone Glacier 2-man tent.
They make a couple of the stone tents.
They might make the 1 person.
I think, and they actually might make all the stone tents. Stone just doesn't have an option for all the.
Really?
Yeah, I think they make all the stone tents. If you look at the stone tent, you go to their website, you can find, that's that one, but with different colors.
Right.
Or, and Stone might have a few things.
I thought they made the 2-person, but I didn't realize that they made more than one.
The 6-man?
Yeah.
That's made by them too. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway.
We're 2.5 hours into this puppy. It's been a while since we've had.
You can tell we ramble on about gear.
Gear, and anybody who's a gearhead has Well, hopefully loved
You've
every minute
sat
of it.
down with your buddies before, and your wives have had to tell you, all right, it's time to go. You've been talking about sheep hunting for 2 hours.
Like I said, look for the separate gear dump video for Dalton's pack. I'll have that.
It'll be much shorter.
It'll be much shorter. And then if there's something you want to share with a friend, you can introduce them to us slower. Instead of sending them a 2.5 hour podcast, you can send them, I don't know what it was, a half hour, an hour pack dump.
Yeah, microdosing.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, if you enjoy the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast, please leave us a positive written review or a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to us on. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, drop a comment. Smash the like button. And we appreciate all the support that we've gotten. I forgot. I wanted to mention this in this episode. There is someone from, I think he said he was from Sitka, that dropped a review on iTunes, and it was a question.
Oh.
So if you have a question specifically...
Speaking of questions, I haven't checked our email in a while.
That you want to...
We're not going to cover that now, but...
Yeah, let's save that for another time. If you have a question that you want to send into the podcast, you can send it to us on our email, which you can find our email at thegreatalaskahuntingcompany.com, or you can find me, I'm the better bet to find on social media than Mo.
I do actually respond now on Instagram.
Do you? Okay. Yeah. So Mo is, just type in Mo's name, Mariah Humphreys or Dalton Gray. I think my handle is Dalton Gray AK. So we got a question on iTunes. It says, "Hi guys, I live in Sitka and have and love hunting blacktails, but also may need to stop a brown bear. I have a 300 Weatherby and was wondering what bullet would be good for where I live. Thanks for the great show and keep up the good work." That's from Jacob. Well, thanks for listening to the show, Jacob. We appreciate it. 300 Weatherby. You can say the same thing I'm going to. 300 Weatherby. He hunts deer, but he might have to stop a brown bear. What bullet? I'll give my answer. Whatever you want. Honestly, 180 grain core locked is going to work fine.
I mean, it's probably going to fall apart.
All you're trying to do is not get bit in that scenario.
Yeah.
Whatever deer hunting ammo you're going to shoot, 180 grain range, I'm sure is
okay.
Is most
But he
common.
probably wants to hunt a brown bear too.
If you want to shoot a brown bear intentionally, I mean, honestly,
200 grain shock hammer or whatever it's called now.
Yeah. If you're going
Power hammer, is that what they call it?
I believe so. If you're going to reload, something from Hammer would be nice. If you're a younger guy, it kind of sounds like you might be.
With a 300 Weatherby, I would push a 200 plus range.
For bullet weight?
For bullet weight, monolithic.
Sure.
That's my personal.
If it was me and I was just picking factory ammo off the shelf at Orion's,
nice.
I would probably, or Russell's, if Russell's even has 300 Weatherby ammo, I would probably shoot whatever he's got of premium ammunition. That's probably going to be something like 180 grain Nosler partition. Potentially, I think Weatherby does load a 200 grain ELDX Hornady round. I know Hornady...
Weatherby probably loads hammers for that.
Yes, I know they do. But if he can get them, right? And then I know that Hornady factory loads 300 Weatherby in their Precision Hunter lineup of ammo. That's a 200 grain ELDX as well, I believe. Any of those will work fine, man. Put the shot. If you're intentionally hunting brown bears, shoot them in the lungs with the first shot. It's going to be a dead bear. Pretty much whatever you shoot it with. Personally, I would probably stay away from like the 150s or 165s if you can even find those. I would imagine most of what you're going to find for factory ammo is going to be 180 grain, 200 grain range. So any kind of premium bullet in that weight grain would be probably just fine. Stopping a charge, I mean, we've talked about this before, and even my thoughts have changed on that over the years. I used to really think about that a lot more and even carry more gun than I needed just out of a thought of, well, what if? I've kind of gone away from that as I've done more. And Now my mindset is I just need to hit the bear. Odds are pretty high that if I hit the bear on a charge, even with something like a 25-06, like what we talked about in this episode, it's going to divert it. I'm not trying to carry enough gun to drop it on its face and, dead right there type of thing, or all that muzzle energy. I'm not carrying that much gun. Otherwise, I would probably never hunt with anything other than a 338 or a 375 or a 416, heaven forbid. But if you're shooting a 300 Weatherby and that's what you've got, you're probably going to be just fine. That's more than enough to stop a charge, let alone divert a charge. More than enough. You're plenty fine there. Just pick a good premium controlled expansion bullet or a mono metal of some sort. I will say this though, Midway USA now ships factory ammo to Alaska.
Oh.
They didn't before. You didn't know this?
No.
Relatively new development.
Yeah, it is.
So
definitely. You
can go online to Midway and order factory ammo. Now, I don't know how much shipping is going to be, but if you're shooting a cartridge like a 300 Weatherby and you're in some coastal town like this guy is from Sitka, man, your choices are pretty limited. I think there are 2, maybe 3 places in that town that you can actually go buy ammo. And the chances of them having a 300 Weatherby ammo is a lot less than having 300 Win Mag or 30-06 or 270 or 308, right? So ordering it online might be the way to go. At that point, if you have your pick and you want the deepest penetration for a projectile, something like a Barnes 180 grain TTSX, or if you can find the Weatherby ammo that loads a hammer bullet, those would be probably our choice as an all-around type of bullet application if you're going to shoot anything from deer to brown bears. So anyway, thanks for listening to the show, guys. We'll see you next time. Until then, pack your sheep packs. It's almost here. Tread lightly, but don't tread well.